Chapter 53:17. Taoist Liang's face was green, and his eyes were extremely sharp. Jian Wushuang's body shape just now was erratic, and the space on the ring was under his control. How is this possible? He is a Taoist. How can he have mastered the origin of space? Many emperors were speechless. The origin of space. Many Taoists don't even know what it is, let alone master it. The people on the Tomb God Mountain are really extraordinary. Those who want to see Jian Wushuang's true strength now thoroughly understand what is the difference between heaven and earth. Brother Nine Swords, this time you're 13 Tai Aegean in the Shangqing Palace. I am afraid that you will all be defeated by this little friend. Insert an app, perfectly reproduce the old version of the book-chasing artifact, an interchangeable app Mimi reading. Although he should have laughed at Shangqing Palace at this time, Taoist Luyang couldn't laugh. With a move in my heart, a blood-colored token floating in the source rotated, recorded the scene just now, and transmitted it to a certain hall in the depths of the northern realm, suspected to find the inheritor, hidden in the ancient hall deep in the north. One of his arms that was about to dry out suddenly moved. Under the ray of sunlight, the owner of the arm leaked his thin, sallow face, and his face was even more terrifying than the guardian. Although there is no vitality in the body of the guardian, at least he looks like a person. This exhausted old man has no personal appearance. His body is like dry wood, his face is like ashes, and even the outline of his face is almost buried by dust. Xiao Liuzi has sent a letter. The skinny old man moved his arm slightly and turned the reluctant lamp. There is a message and a picture at the top. After watching everything that happened above, the old man's eyes leaked light. Inheritor! Puff! A strong breath began to rise, and the skinny old man straightened up in an instant, and his whole person became vigorous. Don't wait for countless epochs. Has the true temple finally opened? The skinny old man's gaze penetrated everything like a torch. Gulyalu, the body of the skinny old man began to change, and the power of flesh and blood rose from the abyss below. The divine body is also gradually breaking through 10,000 times, 20,000 times, 30,000 times, and 50,000 times, until the final 68,000 times. After the divine body was completely restored, the old man's body began to fall off, leaving only a divine phantom. In the abyss, a living flesh slowly rose up. This physical body can keep you alive for 3 days. Even if it comes to nothing, you can escape. Remember to keep the bottom line, and the true spirit will recover. Once he does it, I can't save you. The voice in the abyss was very low, reminding the thin old man carefully. The skinny old man now had his life changed again, and the phantom of the divine body entered the flesh body, directly rose up, clenched his fist slightly, and filled his whole body with powerful force. It's been a long time since I felt this way, and 3 days are enough. Be careful. I will remember this kindness with the Card clan. At the same time, hundreds of figures appeared at the same time in the 4 secret realms of the Northern Realm and even the secret realm of the heavens. These people were all the same as the skinny old man. The price is given to King White, and the inheritor has actually appeared in the northern border. Yeah, countless people have received that message, but it is a pity that there is only King Bai in the north. The White King, who had recovered his ultimate strength, rose to the sky from the depths of the northern realm to Liuzhou. For him, it only took 3 hours. If you take the teleportation array, it may be much faster, but the teleportation array has the origin of cosmic space, and the real spirit is sitting there, and he may be discovered as soon as he enters. He knew the strength of the true spirit. The forest of Manzhou made them, the old guys, more vigilant. In a clan of cards, it must be great again. The true temple can't restrain us. King White, a powerful who crossed the sky and earth in the ancient times, whose strength far surpassed the average tier 6, has entered the ultimate level. But in the true temple, he couldn't break through if he couldn't get out. The origin in the true temple was eroding him all the time, and he had to abandon his body and origin and embark on the line of the divine body. Now, the divine body is more than 60,000 times, although it can only last for 3 days. It is enough. After King Bai broke through the air and left, the abyss of the ancient highness also began to collapse. A huge eye leaked out of the abyss, and then it began to dim. You can't count on these idiots too much. Other plans are also going to start. I really miss my time in the Titans. The huge eyes eventually disappeared. In the Shangqing Palace, Jian Wushuang calmly walked towards the pavilion of watching chaos. He didn't know that there was a strong man who would come here in 3 hours and come for him. The strength of the sheep's third purpose. I am afraid that it will fall in a single encounter. Even if the Shangqing patriarch made a move, he couldn't stop a few rounds. Before the horror came, Jian Wushuang also had an early warning in his heart. He always felt that something was missing there, but there was no way to guess. After returning to the Guanchao Pavilion, after a low-key greeting with those emperors and powerful, he regained his seat. Senior Sheep, when you finish winning the golden sword, let's go back. There seems to be nothing special here. Jian Wushuang whispered quietly. The uncomfortable feeling in his heart did affect his decision-making. The original plan was to go to other places in the Shangqing Palace to take a good look after the sword seizure was over. It's not necessary now. It's better to go back soon. Sheep's 3 eyes naturally didn't have any questions, and Transon responded without any questions. Jian Wushuang nodded and didn't say anything. When he looked at the ring, he glanced at the Taoist Luoyang, the giant of the magic way. With a smile on his face, he was talking and laughing with an emperor, and he couldn't see anything. But he always feels that this magician giant is watching him all the time. After a glance, he looked at the ring again. Taoist Luoyang said that he was small on the surface with the emperor beside him, but he was surprised at the bottom of his heart. He didn't know why Jian Wushuang just glanced at it. It is disrespectful to look directly at the emperor. Even if Jian Wushuang's status is very high, he should know this. Generally, he will not look directly at the strong emperor. If Jian Wushuang watched him because he had just delivered the news, it would be too scary. The method of transmitting the message was granted by the master of the heavenly demon personally. He once told him that such a method of transmission, let alone the Sixth Order Emperor, would not be noticed even in front of the master of the temple. That's why he sent it so boldly. No matter what, this Jian Wushuang will not live long. Tomb God Mountain? Humph, it's just a joke. And these idiots will take it seriously. Taoist Luoyang sneered in his heart. He knows more things than these people. He knows a lot about inheritors, true temples, and even true gods. The most important thing is that he knows where he is. I also know where I am going. Knowing this, he has a more ambitious goal. For this goal, to die. Chapter 53:18. Jian Wushuang always felt that those seemingly non-existent eyes were staring at him, but he couldn't sense who it was. It doesn't matter. There should be no problem with the old man with horns. With a move of mental energy, some rippled moods returned to stability. There are still 11 golden swords on the field now, so be sure to take them all. As for the one taken by Zhu Bacha, he has no choice but to get as many as he can. Not long after he returned to his seat, Elder Nine Swords sent the golden sword to him. The golden sword, like a fish, kept swimming around him. Snapped. I grabbed the golden sword that was swimming and got it into its source. After a little bit of insight, Jian Wushuang was shocked by the Great Road. This is a colorful avenue. The model place is the source, and there is only a golden source in the follow-up. Although it is a small strand, it also benefits infinitely. Sure enough, the avenue of the ancestor of the Qing dynasty was extraordinary. Space and kendo have been merged with each other, and there is also a trace of the way of all things in the root of kendo. This surprised him very much. Unexpectedly, a golden sword would not only enable him to understand the ultimate way, but also benefit Ji Dao along with it. The power of all things that is more powerful than swallowing. Once Ji Dao breaks through the 7th level and masters the power of all things, he is truly invincible and die an immortal, and the emperor can also be killed, regardless of the outside world or the natives. Cut. Now, Ji Dao has broken through one after another. Although the 7th floor is very close, it is not so easy to break through. There is a bottleneck in every 3 layers, and it is too difficult to overcome. These 3 levels of devouring power rely on swallowing, and basically don't rely on cultivation. Now that I want to enter the 7th level, I don't know where to start. You can only devour some of the original sources first, and achieve the most complete 6th floor. Swallow. Aboriginal Taoist monarchs and those emperors are the real delicacy. No wonder the Temple of Forbidding suppressed those demon masters and did not dare to let them out. They really wanted to let go. Their threat was too great, and it didn't take long for them to swallow the practitioners of the 4 great secret realms. Up. And these demon masters, the more they swallow, the stronger the backlash. Once the snowball rolls up, I am afraid that the real spirit will not be able to end. After thinking about this, Jian Wushuang was also relieved. Shan Jun is kind to him, and he has evil thoughts in his body, but it can't be too much. The bottom line is still there. After a little insight, he left an avatar of thought power in the original path, and his thoughts were also freed from it, on the ring. In fact, Jian Wushuang was not the fastest to end the battle. There was also a dozi who was also very strong, but it was the sword leader who challenged him. He was defeated with 1 sword, and he was indeed faster than him. The emperors of the major sects are not weak in strength, and they have been killed with the Tea sword. There was a Taoist monarch who persisted till the end. Broly! Jian Wushuang's eyes changed, looking at the burly man with naked torso on the ring, a little surprised. He had seen through the strength of this person early in the morning. Even looking at it now, it's just like that. How can it persist until now? The power of thought condensed slightly, and he approached the ring. And when he observed it again, Broly's breath had been constantly growing despite the time of the battle. The divine body and origin are changing with the battle. He is not practicing kendo, someone exclaimed. Jian Wushuang shook his head. It's so important. No one else uses a sword, and the origin Dao doesn't have any sword intent. How could it be Jian Xiao? A casual cultivator who does not practice kendo can enter the Shangqing Palace to watch the sword tied. He turned his head and looked back. An emperor sitting in the 4th row clenched his fists and stared at the ring. His appearance was very similar to Broly. My son, we must win. For the glory of the Dabu family. He is the emperor of kendo. Jian Wushuang saw the identity of the emperor at a glance. Then he turned his head to look at a 4th order emperor on the side and asked, Fan Daoyu, who is the man behind? This fellow Zhang. The Taoist name is Han Tianjun. He is a powerful 4th order emperor with a strong background. He comes from a super family and is no weaker than the Shangqing Palace. Jian Wushuang also talked with this Huntian monarch before. I've heard of this person. When I was assigned to Liuzhou by the family, the first person I knew was him. The strength of the 3rd order emperor and the collapse of the family's middle way has been running around for the family, and it is not easy. Han Tianjun raised his eyebrows and smiled lightly. Why, Wushuang Daoist is interested in him. Jian Wushuang shook his head and looked at Broly on the ring. I am more interested in his son. Ha! In this case, when the ceremony is over, I can let the father and son get together in private. Han Tianjun said, patted his chest. He has a strong background, and his own strength is not weak. He is good friends with many fifth-order emperors. He was assigned to Liuzhou by the family to take care of the family's industry and make friends to stabilize his position in the family. Jian Wu's double-faced color moved slowly and said, "It's not necessary this time. There is not much time. I will leave when the golden sword ends. I'm just very curious about this Broly," but came to grab the golden sword. This kind of thing actually happened in the past. It was not a sword repair, but came to grab the golden sword, first to be famous, and second to get the golden sword, which can also be sold at a high price. It's just that there are few opportunities like this. It's not that sword repair seldom can come in, especially the powerhouse of the Taoist level, just like these powerhouses in the Cao Cao Pavilion now. Jiuqing is a sword repairer. There are also 10% of emperors who bring their families or sect descendants to watch the sword tide. Broly, on the contrary, he is not a sword repairer, but his father is a sword repairer. Followed his father into the Shangqing Palace. Could it be said that the gold sword was also for his father? Han Tianjun glanced around. He made friends in all directions, and exquisite. How could he not see what Jian Wushuang was wondering? Fellow Taoist Wushuang, that Emperor Bukuan is a swordsman emperor. His son Broly went to the arena to grab the golden sword, to a large extent to help his father seize the golden sword. Another reason is also to become famous. Han Tianjun whispered quietly. Sure enough, the same as he guessed. If so, it's not surprising. Broly's performance in the ring. Even if he loses in the end, he will become famous in the future, and he will definitely be attracted by some big forces. It is better to win. The emperors in the next few rows are already wooing Emperor Bukuan. This is how the father is expensive with the son. Emperor Bukuan's strength is very weak, up to the third-tier top emperor, and few emperors present are weaker than him. If you join certain forces, you may at most mix with the head of an outer deacon. After all, he is not a confidant, but he can only be a deacon of the outer sect and has no future. Chapter 53:19, On the Ring. Broly's breath, the stronger the war. The physical body has reached a perfect state, and the whole person is strong, and the body is like a peak treasure, indestructible. His weapon was also very strange. It was a treasure glove, which was smashed with one punch, and the treasure in his hand began to tremble. 10,000-fold divine body. Jian Wushuang's eyes shrank, and he didn't expect Broly's divine body to be still rising. The origin path is also comparable to outside practitioners. Of the same level, there are probably few origins in the 4 secret realms that are stronger than Broly. The Tai A Jian, who fought with Broly, was still able to gain the upper hand at first, but now he has fallen to one side and is gradually losing his support. This scene greatly changed the expressions of everyone on the tide-watching pavilion. Lost third. The lord of the Shangqing Palace looked as usual. He didn't care much about the younger generation. He lost face when he lost, but he still didn't affect him. The big elder is different. The younger generation has always been under his control. He usually seizes the sword and loses once as normal and loses twice even if it is capped. Now it is the third loser. There is no need to wait for Jian Wushuang to sweep, and the remaining half of the emperor and Daozi may be able to defeat them by half. This was beyond his expectation. Elder Nine Swords had a different view. It was not terrible to lose because he was afraid that the great elder could not afford to lose. The younger generation is the foundation, and it should have changed a long time ago. After this time, he will naturally ask the patriarch to allow the changes. There is also an increase in financial resources to win loose repairs. Practice pays attention to personal law and wealth. These two factors accounted for the bulk of the Qing palace. Naturally, there is no shortage of skills in the Qing palace. The financial situation may be relatively short, but this is also because the sphere of influence is too small. If it can dominate Liuzhou, the status of the Shangqing palace can be raised. This son, Elder Nine Swords, stared at Broly on the arena. Although this person has great potential and strength, he is not a sword repairer and won't help the other party too much. But his father can win one or two. Broly's strength is much stronger than Zhubacha, and he will soon become a fourth-order emperor after he joins the road. A future fourth-order emperor, even hopeful that the fifth-order existence, is worthy of him to win. Elder Nine Swords moved his heart and immediately transmitted the voice to the deacons outside, order to go down. After the ceremony, leave Bukuin father and son, and promise them no matter what they ask. This kind of practice may not be very attractive to the palace master and the great elder, but it is also a means of accumulating strength. The last time Liuzhou changed, an ancient relic was born. They suffered a big loss due to lack of manpower. The great forces fought, and the practitioners were overwhelming, and their strong were still too few. Boom. I'm going to lose. Many people sighed. Although some Jian Xiu were not from the Shangqing palace, they didn't want to see Jian Xiu be defeated by the side. Jian Wushuang didn't care about it. This Broly feels very strange to him. If necessary, he will fight the opponent and use the power of devouring to take a look at the origin of the opponent. This was the first time he saw the origin of the stronger the war. He didn't tell the old chauffeur man about this, because besides him, it seemed that many people hadn't paid too much attention to Broly's breath becoming stronger. Broly wins. Broly, who returned to the Cao Cao pavilion, spoke very little, just nodded slightly, and after receiving the golden sword, he returned to his position. Bukun's face was full of smiles, and he kept praising Broly for his bravery. Under everyone's gaze, Broly gave the golden sword directly to his father, Bukuin. Many people know this, but they didn't expect that Bukuin was so shameless that he actually asked his son to beg for it in person. The emperor's face was simply ashamed. A lot of cold sword repairers snorted at the moment, sullenly not looking at them. In this regard, the father and son were calm. After Bukuin took it generously, he got up and walked towards Jian Wushuang. His Royal Highness Wushuang, please accept this golden sword. This, Jian Wushuang turned his head to look at Bukuin, who had bowed before him, his face full of doubt. What is this person doing? I asked for my son's golden sword, and turned around to give it to him. When other strong men saw this scene, they also leaked incredible eyes. Didn't you shoot flattering like that? Emperor Bukuin, I can't bear this golden sword. Jian Wushuang quickly pushed back. Although the golden sword is of great use to him, it is not worthless. He even swallowed the origin of the universe and cared about the origin of the emperor. Bukuin raised his head, glanced at the old man with horns, once again bowed to Jian Wushuang, and respectfully said, "The sword is weak in the lower kendo, and there is no blessing to get the golden sword. This treasure is only in the hands of His Highness. It will be of great use. I would like to offer this golden sword in exchange for a promise from Your Highness." Committed to, Jian Wushuang is even more speechless. What is the value of his promise? Isn't this a disguised gift of treasure? If this Bukuin knew his identity, I am afraid that would not be the case. He is just an inheritor, so there is no identity background. The trials are not over, and when the trials are over, after they settled in the 4 secret realms, their status will not be too high. After all, they are just great potential, not strong. I don't want to talk about Hadao. The origin of the indigenous Taoist monarchs is weak, and the chance of Hadao is very high generally can succeed. Apart from Hadao, Jian Wushuang didn't think that his life would be better in the future. The current trial is nothing more than a screening. Once the screening is done and settled in the four secret realms, it will be a more severe trial when the time comes. Don't really think that the inheritor of the Qixin Temple, who is the whole flaunting and majestic wandering around the four secret realms, has the strength against the sky. However, it's not impossible to make a short promise and exchange for a golden sword. Wow! Jian Wushuang flipped his hands and took out a pinnacle treasure, and a fruit that increased its origin. The former is a fairly good innate treasure. It is used to guard the original source. It is used by the emperor in the outside world. However, the value of the four secret realms is not so high, and it may be about 10,000 sacred stones. The latter is somewhat special, with a value of around 50,000 sacred stones, and together they are not as good as the golden sword. The key to Jian Wushuang's body was so little left, which treasure that guarded the origin was just taken from him. I don't like the cause and effect of owing others. You take these treasures. Jian Wushuang moved slightly, and then took the Silk Road origin from his own origin, with the power of all things on top. This thread of origin is for Ling Lang. The origin has appeared, and everyone has seen this origin. This origin. It's amazing. Jian Wushuang didn't expect that if he randomly extracted a strand of origin, it would cause so many people to tremble. Friend Wushuang, where did you get this origin? Han Tianjun stared at that origin, his eyes hot. Then I thought about it, knowing that I had said the wrong thing, and quickly changed the subject. Upon hearing this, Jian Wushuang immediately said, "It is not a good treasure given by my parents." Chapter 53:20. Anyway, he will leave after today, and no one knows what he says, and he will not be afraid of revealing stuff in the future. He took out so many things, but Bukuan was a little bit unwilling to accept it. Jian Wushuang frowned slightly and said, "Why? Not enough." No, enough is enough. Bukuan was very frightened, making Broly's face deep and his eyes a little unkind. Then Bukuan spoke, and quickly accepted these treasures. Jian Wushuang accepted the golden sword with satisfaction. He owes enough cause and effect, and promises are also cause and effect. For things that can be solved with treasures, try not to use cause and effect. It's hard to pay it back then. After accepting the golden sword, Han Tianjun hurriedly congratulated, then quietly said Bukuan's request. It turned out that the other party would offer the golden sword only if he wanted something, and now let Han Tianjun help him pass the message. Friend Wushuang, this Bukuan is not ordinary. He wants the senior sheep who came with you to accept Broly as a disciple, and accept it in front of so many powerful people. Jian Wushuang was stunned. The old man Yanghorn was only a fifth-order emperor. Even if he was much stronger than the same order, these people shouldn't be able to see it, except for the master of the Shangqing Palace. Broly's potential is huge. This time he has become famous in Liuzhou, and people who want to worship that mountain gate will have very high conditions. I'm afraid the Shangqing Palace will win it. It is not difficult for the fifth-order emperor to accept disciples. If you are willing, I am afraid that the other fifth-order emperors will accept Broly. There is no need to apprentice the old man with horns. Jian Wushuang uttered his doubts. Han Tianjun laughed secretly in his heart and immediately replied, "Brother Wushuang, when you and Senior Yang came, did you meet the palace master who is stationed in Liuzhou? It turned out to be like this." Without Han Tianjun explaining, he understood. Bukuan wanted to hug his thigh. Han Tianjun mentioned that Bukuan was running around for the family, a disciple of a fifth-order emperor, It was not a big deal. It was impossible for those big forces to give in because of this relationship. But if they apprehend the three eyes of the sheep, and relying on the relationship between the three eyes of the sheep and the palace master, I am afraid that their family status will also rise. Jian Wushuang did not think too much. The battle of the four secret realms was much colder than he had imagined. So humble to give him a gift to a Taoist monarch. In the end, not only for his own son, but also for the family. In this way, Jian Wushuang's impression of him has also slightly changed a lot. However, he and Bu Kuan no longer have so many causes and effects. The origin of the ultimate path, the only one in the world, and it is more than enough to exchange for a golden sword. If you want to apprentice Yang Sanmu, you have to talk about it yourself. He also didn't think that with his current status, the old horned man could give him face. After this episode, the capture of the sword continued, and he continued to end. It is a fact that the Shangqing Palace today has been wiped out. If the palace lord of the Shangqing Qing dynasty spoke, he might show face, but if no one mentions it, he would not be polite. In the second game, a Tai Aegean was randomly selected, and the opponent was also given a chance to win easily in 3 rounds. This is the crush of Yuan Yuan, and he may not be as good as the other party in jerkiness, but he has never been afraid of anyone in Yuan Yuan Road. In just 2 hours, he swept through all Tai Aegean except Jinkui, the 13th Tai Aegean. The 13th and 7th Jianzi lost to Zhubacha and Broly, and the remaining 10 Tai Aegean were defeated by Jian Wushuang. Now, there is only one sword chief left. This is the last fig leaf of the Shangqing Palace. This has never happened in the history of the Shangqing Palace. If Jian Wushuang was the heaven-defying Taoist lord in Zhongzhou, I'm afraid the palace master of Shangqing would definitely stop him because of his face. But he is not a member of the major sects. He is a Taoist from the Tomb Mountain. Don't talk about background, just talk about strength. It is obvious to all emperors that if the palace lord of the Shangqing dynasty really stopped, it would be looked down upon by others. It's better to be calm. The heaven-defying Taoist on the Tumshan Mountain came to sweep a sect of the emperor, and it would not be ashamed to say it. Boom! Jian Wushuang fell into the ring again. Shangqing Palace, contemporary sword leader, Yan Zhen, he is still the brother of the Chasing Wind sword, and both of the brothers are contemporary 13 great swords, and Yan Zhen is still the leader of the sword. The emperors of their family are proud of this. In the previous fight, the same as Jian Wushuang, he also solved the opponent in 3 rounds, without any muddling. Now facing Jian Wushuang, there is no panic at all. The last battle, it is also the opponent who is most likely to let Jian Wushuang use his full strength, and many people in the Watching Tide Pavilion are watching, except for the Broly. He doesn't practice kendo, nor does he like being in crowded places, sitting there alone, drinking alone. Yang Sanmu knew Jian Wushuang's strength and didn't pay much attention. Instead, he glanced at Broly and then quietly sent the news through his identity token. Jian Wushuang could see the difference between Broly and Yang's 3 eyes naturally saw it, and also these indigenous emperors whose origins were too weak, and their mental powers were too weak to discover the value of this piece of jade. Insert a sentence. Mimi reading gap. Really good. It is worth installing one. After all, you can cache reading and read aloud offline. Senate Palace. Wu's was Dharmakaya sitting on the throne. After receiving the news of Yang Sanmei, his eyes were deep. Immediately got up. This Dharmakaya went to Liuzhou in person. Is it a change? Wu's was said to himself, if he really changed his way, he would have done a great job again this time. This matter must not let the people in the White Tiger Palace know. If the deity is not in retreat, he will even let the deity go in person. But a Dharmakaya is enough. He used to be a named disciple of Qishan, and his strength was immense. Even the law bodies had 6th-order combat power. And since returning to the Temple of Qishan, he has gained a lot of benefits. In the Temple of Qishan, he had hidden a lot of good things and some powerful relics. He knew where he was, and when he opened up Wasteland, he did not take advantage of it. Today, a Dharma body carries several eternal treasures. Moreover, once the deity digests that treasure, his strength can skyrocket a lot. For secret realms in vertical and horizontal, he has never seen those indigenous emperors. The journey of the strong lies in the outside world. After the strength is strong, or after the treasures of the Qishan Temple are emptied, they still have to go out and explore the 4 great secret realms where he can go. To him, the 4 great secret realms are like a back garden. There is nothing to break into. The average emperor is fine. Like him, the treasures of the 4 great secret realms have not attracted much attraction to him. He has a lot of eternal treasures. And the pitch-black snake, refined by the gods, is the ultimate eternal treasure. In addition to the treasures of the universe, he also looks down on other treasures because they are of little use to him. After seeing Wuzhua, Qiu Huang, who was sitting in the teleportation hall, quickly got up to greet him. "Friend Qiu Huang, please send a seat to Liuzhou." Wu's tone was very friendly, which made Qiu Huang a little embarrassed. He nodded and politely sent Wuzhua into the teleportation formation, and then injected divine power, which instantly aroused the entire formation. Chapter 53:21. Qiu Huang's heart moved, and suddenly he thought that Jian Wushuang and Yang Sama had just gone to Liuzhou, and now Wuzhua is also going. Is there something wrong there? After sending Wuzhua away, he quickly contacted Jian Wushuang through his identity token. "Brat, Wuzhua is here. The world revolves, and once again is Shaluo City. Just waiting for him to enter Shaluo City." The whole person was shocked. A strong sense of threat made his brows frown. Boom! The entire city of Shaluo was trembling, and the emperors outside the teleportation formation jumped into the air, not looking at the teleportation formation, but rushing to the north. As soon as Wuzhua apart from the teleportation formation, the 3 teleportation formations behind him began to collapse. People in the city also began to flee, all in the north. North! Stationed in the direction of the temple, Venerable Fire is sitting there. Even the teleportation array dared to destroy. It seemed that the other party had come prepared. Arrogant! Wuzhua roared and rose to the sky, looking at the black mist in the distance. This is the Temple of Qishan, the chassis of his master of Qishan. These natives dare to rebel. When he opened up Wasteland, he slaughtered many 6th-order emperors, although only a law body came, but ordinary 6th-order emperors could not escape his palm. In the black mist, a figure flew out, white hair and cold face. It is the White King. After he arrived in Liuzhou, he first went to slaughter the Lord of the Temple of Heaven, Venerable Blazing Fire. Then the entire Liuzhou teleportation array was destroyed along the way. Shaluo City is the last one. "It's you." After King Bai saw the incoming person, his complexion changed a lot, but after a little sense, he found that it was just a Dharmakaya, and he looked up to the sky and smiled. "God is helping me. If you are the deity coming, you can still stop me, a Dharmakaya. You can't stop me." Wu's eyes changed, and the other party was right. Unbelievable combat power. How can you, a dog of the bereavement, step into the ranks of the ultimate? King Bai had cold eyes. When he heard the dog of the bereavement, he laughed in anger and sarcastically said, "Aren't you the dog of the bereavement? The true has fallen, and you, a disciple, would like to accompany his old man, and I will help you. Let me tell you, the novel app I'm using recently, Myriad app, Android, and Apple phones support it. This sentence is extremely harmful to Wuzhua, and he does it directly regardless of whether his strength is equal or not. You are looking for death. At this moment, not only did the law body utter this sentence, the deity also broke through, and the pale yellow Taoist robe danced with the wind. The Senate Palace trembles. Immediately notify the White Tiger Palace. There is a change in Liuzhou. After leaving this sentence, Wu's deity broke away. Yuanyang Lake is in the land of Zhongzhou, too far from the north. Even if he wants to fly over, it will take hundreds of years. But the teleportation array was destroyed and could only be teleported to the vicinity of Liuzhou. It's not difficult to cross the entire Liuzhou. One day is enough. The rebellion this time is too strong, the most powerful. In addition to him, the veteran of the Senate Palace has the ultimate strength, but there is also a third-tier veteran, but he is discussing the Northern Territory in the White Tiger Palace. Not in the Senate at all. Only people can inform the White Tiger Temple, and together can we suppress the White King. Absolute combat power is no longer what ordinary Sixth-Order emperors can contend. That Dharma body will not last long. The key is that he doesn't know what the purpose of that White King is. Liuzhou, the most comfortable place today, is the Shangqing Palace. The identity token is very special, and some people are very few. The people on the tide-watching pavilion watched the fight below, drank their drinks, and tasted the unique fruits of the Shangqing Palace. But I don't know that a terrifying existence will soon come here. Jian Wushuang received the news from Qiu Huang. It's just that the news is very brief. It just talked about Wus were going to Liuzhou and asked if anything happened there. While dealing with the sword chief, Jian Wushuang also sent a message to Qiu Huang. Yanzhen obviously felt that Jian Wushuang hadn't taken it seriously at all, and his momentum exploded again for a while. His Royal Highness, like you see today, what is Tea's sword? Yanzhen stretched out his hands, and two long-bladed cold knives appeared in his hands. When he raided again, the power was endless. Even Jian Wushuang felt the pressure. And after fooling Qiu Huang casually at the moment, he concentrated on fighting. Jianqi's strength is really extraordinary. Curse. Since he wants respect, he just gives it. He wants to use the purest kendo to defeat the opponent, which is regarded as respect. From beginning to end, he didn't even use Jidao. The 7th level of ultimate swordsmanship. No matter how pure it is, there is no reality from the extreme. The power of all things is not a joke. Killing the emperor can do it. Although there is only a part of the power of all things in the body, it is enough to kill the weak and weak emperors of the indigenous people. Rumble. The sky is rustling, and the punishment of the heavens has triggered the power of the space thunder to fall from the sky. Yanzhen also felt the breath. It was too late when he wanted to retreat. He could only bite the bullet and fight Jian Wushuang head-on. He knew that Jian Wushuang's origins were extremely powerful, and he would suffer a lot from head-to-head in kendo. If he only relied on his unique skills, he still had hope. After fighting for so long, he could see a lot of things. Jian Wushuang has been using the purest kendo source, but what he uses is fascinating. The difference between the two is so big that it really makes him ashamed. But this time, he would take the sword no matter what, whether it was for himself or for the sect. This sword is likely to be the opponent's strongest sword, if there is hope of a comeback next. Indeed, this sword is indeed the strongest sword ever realized by Jian Wushuang's kendo. The 7th level of the ultimate path is even for this sword. Talent, imprisonment. In one go, there is a big difference between having no sword in his hand and holding it without moving. Song. A heavy attack broke out. Yanzhen slashed across his body, his hands trembling. He caught the sword and even made a breakthrough in a hurry, and by the way gave Jian Wushuang a sword. It's interesting. Jian Wushuang stood tall in the air, slowly turning around. The Heaven Punishment Sword. unexpectedly failed to slash the opponent, but took a sword by himself. He was a little amused after seeing the others shaking hands. A perfect super-grade flesh body can't be broken so easily. Just the rebound of the flesh body can cause the opponent's arms to break and destroy. He has lost the absolute knowledge, but he hasn't won at the root. This made Jian Wushuang very interested in this person. The Heaven Punishment Sword is his strongest sword, but he has never said it, only this sword. Around the body, a huge sword formation suddenly rose up. Absolute fairy formation. 72 of the strongest swords appeared directly around the body. Although it is not too pure, using the power of thought and swallowing, it is not too bullying. If you use the Heaven Punishment Sword a few more times, you can defeat Yan Zhen, but if you do so, it's too boring. This is a competition. There is no need to be so decisive so that the opponent has no desire to come back. Chapter 53:22. To leave a trace of illusion to the other party, and then go to break him. The breath has changed, and sure enough, his sword cannot be reused. Yan Zhen was overjoyed and quickly swallowed the pill to restore the loss of his physical and divine body. His Tai A sword is a peculiar learning. As long as the strength continues, Tai A sword will not break. Like last time, he once again raided and killed Xiang Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang lowered his eyebrows and smiled, and the change of the sword formation immediately trapped the opponent. Absolutely immortal. Absolutely immortal. It's really to go to the fairy road and return to the commonplace. The great formation rose up, the sword intent soared into the sky. Yan Zhen was not weak in strength, but he couldn't rush out, and he was trapped. At the tide-watching pavilion, the great elder's heart sank. Father, like son. They saw that Jian Wushuang's current state has not changed at all, and even his aura is stronger than before, but Yanggen's aura has been weakening. There is no hope for a comeback, not a level opponent. However, Jian Wushuang gave the other party great hope, allowing Yan Zhen to maintain the best mentality to fight against. The emperors also saw this, but they changed their views on Jian Wushuang, and even more to this mysterious Taoist monarch. Looked at it with admiration. Yan Zhen in the sword formation is like a headless fly. Jian Wushuang changed the sword formation at will. Each time he gave Yan Zhen a glimmer of hope, then broke, and gave hope again. Under the recommendation, the reading app one I'm using recently, Mimi Reading App, has many book sources, complete books, and fast update. Repeatedly, Yong N is like walking into a maze. This can be regarded as a kind of tempering. It's just that the Grand Elder's expression a little bit can't hold back. This is simply playing Yan Zhen, insulting them, the contemporary sword chief of the Shangqing Palace. But without that strength, what can be done? The background is incomparable, and the strength is not good, so he can only swallow the whole bitter fruit. Jian Wushuang is outside the formation, with his hands around his chest, looking at the sword leader in the sword formation indifferently. He is not playing the other side. As long as Yan Zhen can break 36 swords, which is half of the sword formation, he is expected to break through again. This chance is worthy of the golden sword in his hand. Their 13 Tai A swords guarded their respective arenas. Until no one challenged them, they obtained the golden swords in their hands, and they would naturally go all out. The usual ceremonies are actually a reward for them, which can be said to be fame and fortune. This time, not only the reputation was discredited, but the golden sword was not able to be left, and all were given to outsiders. Ding! The identity token shook, and Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. In addition to Qiu Huang, Hui Qing, and Ji Chaoyang were able to send him through identity tokens. In this shock, could it be that these three people were looking for him at the same time? As soon as the mind power moved, a mind power clone appeared in front of the token floating in the source. Now in the origin, there are several avatars of him. respectively comprehending the origin of the kendo, the origin of the extreme path, the origin of the ancestor of the Shang-Qing dynasty, the ultimate formation method, and even the power of the space above the candle dragon's wings. His spatial origin is great, and he has already entered the room. Although he has exceeded the same level by too much, he will not leave it alone. Instead, he has divided a little thought and has been enlightening. Once the kendo and the ultimate path are consummated, after he steps into the emperor, the origin of space can be related to the realm, and naturally it is impossible to fall. He was at the forefront. Now that he has fallen, it will be difficult to catch up in the future. Looking at the identity token, Jian Wushuang's clone gently waved his hand, and a large number of messages appeared above it. It came from Qiu Huang all over. Article 1. Please pay more attention. Wuzuo's trip to Liuzhou may be related to you. Reply ASAP. Reply ASAP. Reply ASAP. The great chaos in Liuzhou will return quickly. Tell Yang Sanmu, the old immortal, to get back to me quickly. This is not a joke. Don't go to Shaluo City. Hurry out of Liuzhou and find a big city to send it back. The teleportation array was destroyed. Chaos in Liuzhou? Jian Wushuang couldn't believe it. He raised his head and looked at the tide-watching pavilion. He was still pushing his cup and changing his cup. There was no mess at all. But since Qiu Huang said so, plus the trace of worry in his heart, he didn't dare to procrastinate at the moment. So he put away the absolute immortal formation. I really can't play this time. I have to go quickly. The touch in his heart became clearer and clearer, and he didn't dare to drag it any longer. Curse, ball cage, everything. Jia. He used all the physical power. For a time, a sword that contained the power of all things burst out in an instant, shaking the sky, causing the entire space to begin to tremble. As soon as this sword came out, the elder 9 swords on the watching tide pavilion stepped straight into the ring, blocking Yanzhen, who was stunned behind him. Then left. At the moment he left, that celestial penalty sword chopped down and turned into a huge cage, which remained for a long time. Jian Wushuang's figure also instantly teleported out of the ring. The 13 Taijian all lost. This is the first time. Elder 9 swords, come forward and prepare to congratulate. This time Jian Wushuang didn't have time to be polite with these people, and after a few prevarications passed, he hurriedly walked to the old man Yang Jiao. Senior sheep, go. The face is colorless, but the bottom of my heart is very anxious, directly transmitting the sound of the old man with horns. The old man Yang Jiao was taken aback for a moment. Jian Wushuang said that he would leave earlier, but there is no need to be in such a hurry. Jian Wushuang directly informed Yang Sanmu of the news from Qiu Huang, fearing that he would drag him www.novel. Come, as soon as he heard that the teleportation array was destroyed, the old man Yang horned directly violent. The momentum leaked out directly, shaking the entire Guanchao pavilion. Elder 9 swords, after handing the last golden sword to Jian Wushuang, he suddenly saw the old man Yang horn so gaff. He was about to ask what happened. The palace lord of Shangqing, who was sitting on the main seat, also stood up suddenly. This scene made everyone shiver. These two momentums are actually on par. Are these two people going to fight? Is it because Jian Wushuang picked Tai Jian from the entire Shangqing palace? It's not necessary either. The key is that the imposing manner of a 6th Order Emperor of the Shangqing Palace is comparable to that of the 5th Order Emperor, the old man of the chauffeur. Is the palace lord of the Shangqing too weak, or the old man of the chauffeur too strong? Elder 9 swords was sandwiched between the two, thinking that they were going to do something, and immediately said, "Uncle Master, there is no need to do this, we." Before he finished speaking, he heard the voice of the palace lord of Shangqing. This time it's not Transhan. Liuzhou has changed, quickly open the Shangqing building, and go to the north to take refuge in Hangzhou. At the same time, on the back mountain of the Shangqing Palace, a middle-aged man with white hair and a blue shirt and long sideburns broke through with a sword. It is the ancestor of the Shangqing. He also just received the news, and at the same time he noticed the breath, and he was rushing towards this place. Absolutely strong. He longs for a battle, but the entire sect cannot stay here. Take the disciples, and go quickly, don't worry about me. Sounds like a bell. The palace lord of the Shangqing condenses into a ball. Except for the Taoists of Luoyang, everyone was shocked at the pavilion of watching chaos. Of course, Taoist Luoyang was also shocked, just pretending to be. The old horned man didn't care about these people, and immediately took out the ancient boat, pulled Jian Wushuang, and rose up. Chapter 53:23. The strongest power began to spread throughout the ancient boat, and the fishermen sitting on the ancient boat stood up directly. Go! The voice of the old man with horns was very low. Looking back, Jian Wushuang looked back at the people below. It will soon become ruins, and even the entire Liuzhou will fall. Boom! The void was broken, and the mighty eruption of the ancient boat made the attached mountains tremble. When the panicked people below looked into the air, Guzhou was still in place, but Jian Wushuang and the old man Yanghorn had actually been hundreds of thousands of miles away. This speed has exceeded the space. The Sixth Order Emperor is hard to reach, very popular, but the old man with horns still felt the pressure, which came from the pressure in Shero City. The sun and the moon contended for glory, and 2 rounds of huge solar brilliance spread from Shaluo City, and the entire Liuzhou was shaking. Jian Wushuang turned his head and looked back. Under the dazzling light, there was a small black spot behind them. With a slight movement, his eyes sank. It's him. That little black spot is the Emperor of 6 Suns. He is manipulating a mutilated hall and is following them. Although the speed was much slower than theirs, but they have not opened the distance. I had already felt that the other party had some intentions, and now they were following them again, which made Jian Wushuang suspicious. The teleportation formation was destroyed, and Liuzhou was shocked. The hidden secrets of this might have something to do with his arrival, as well as the demon giant. The speed of the ancient boat was very fast, and it was only a cup of tea, and it was out of the scope of the Shangqing Palace. At this time, the Shangqing Palace is ready to go, and several eternal treasure palaces are rising. Who would have thought that an hour ago the Shangqing Palace would still sing and dance, welcoming and sending? Now it's just about to run away. Venerable Blaze fell, Shaluo City was destroyed, and the entire Liuzhou area was about to die in an instant. Is this the ancient times? Sure enough, cruel. Mad Dao bastard. Yang Sanmu turned his head back in an instant, and a third eye appeared on the center of his eyebrows. Born beast pupil. No wonder the name Yang Sanmu. Jian Wushuang looked at him in a daze, and a huge human-shaped antelope appeared above the sky, with its curved corners breaking through the sky. You sit on the ancient boat and go first, and I have to take one person away. Yang's third eye left a sentence, and the sky has receded hundreds of millions of miles before he moved. Just now, Wu's was Dharma body shattered, and that Dharma body fell to Shaluo City. Through the transmission token, he let the Yang Sanmu in the Shangqing Palace and took away a Taoist monarch with horn Broly. Had to go back now. The ancient boat was completely controlled by the fishermen, and the speed of the old man with horns remained unchanged after he left. Jian Wushuang didn't know who the old horned man was going to take back, and before he could ask, the other party disappeared in this space. Turn out a piece of jade slip. Damn it! Jian Wushuang couldn't help cursing secretly. Now there are many emperors who fled behind him, and they are not slow. They have already met several people. So many people fleeing together. They will definitely be overtaken. Although he doesn't know who the horrible existence that destroys Liuzhou is, he can feel the terrifying breath of the other party. Once you meet, you will die. The target is too big to escape with these people. Jian Wushuang knew it and immediately commanded the fishermen, "Go to Baimu Zhangzhou." Going north to Hanzhou is very close to the border of Liuzhou, but it is also easier to be overtaken. It is better to change direction and go to Zhangzhou, where there is a real peerless powerhouse. Although he is at odds with the temple, he will not look at others ruining Baimu Zhangzhou. The fisherman standing at the bow of the boat was stunned, and then adjusted his direction according to what Jian Wushuang said. From here, it takes at least a whole day to get to the north head of Zhangzhou. The Taoist Luyang, who followed behind, manipulated the incomplete ancient temple, and after seeing the fine adjustment of Guzhou's direction, his eyes changed. "Elder, shall we not go to Hanzhou?" Zhu Bacha asked cautiously. Taoist Luyang nodded slightly and said, "Changzhou is too close. Even if you go, you will still flee. It's better to go to Zhangzhou in the north, but there is the Guangmu Tianzuan suppressed there. No one can commit." Guangmu Tianzuan, a sixth-order emperor who survived the ancients, once followed the ancient existence of Qishan, and was one of the 108 divine envoys under the command of Qishan. Behind him, he settled in the temple of Qishan and was at odds with the four halls. He has been sitting in Zhangzhou, his lair. "Hey, aren't you very interested in golden swords?" The kid in front has 12 golden swords in his hands. Taoist Luyang said gloomily, 12 golden swords, not to mention Tao's sovereign sword repair. Even the fourth-order emperor is eager. Could it be that? Zhu Bacha knew it soon. But all he knew was that he was killing people and surrendering. Just now, the old man with horns left. The two of them watched carefully. On the ancient boat ahead, Jian Wushuang was alone. A Taoist, no matter how defying the sky, can he contend with a fifth-order emperor? I wish Bacha, as a giant of the demon Tao, naturally has a demon in his mind, and he does not care about the identity and background of the other party. As a fifth-order emperor of Luyang Taoist, what he valued was not the golden sword on Jian Wushuang, but Jian Wushuang himself. If you can capture Jian Wushuang alive and give it to that senior, Terror will get a lot of rewards. It is possible to enter the sixth-order emperor. Moreover, he looked at that ancient boat with eager eyes. The supreme space treasure, the speed far exceeds the average sixth-order emperor. This kind of scarce eternal treasure. Many sixth-order emperors don't have it. How could he not be enthusiastic now Liuzhou is shaking and an inheritor died? I am afraid that no one can find it out. Taoist of 6 sons, his speed increased once again. The speed of the ancient boat is very fast, but stable. There is no old man with horns. Although there is no change in speed, it has lost the most important safety. Looking back again, the little black spot behind him was gone, and Jian Wushuang's hanging heart was about to let go when a dark and dazzling light suddenly struck. Rumble! Yao Guang directly hit the ancient boat, making a terrifying buzzing sound. Between Jian Wushuang's ears, there was a whirlpool, and it took a long time to react. Raising his eyebrows, the mutilated ancient temple of Taoist Luyang actually arrived in front of him at some point, but after a while, he threw it away and rushed to the front again. This kind of terrifying attack, although temporarily unable to attack him, but the heart strength is also anxious. He hurriedly sent a message to the old man, but found that the identity token had been locked. The crisis this time was too big. Jian Wushuang didn't know what to do for a while. The old man's chauffeur had been away for a long time, and now there was no letter at all. He had a bad premonition in his heart. If the sheep's 3 eyes fell, he would really be finished. The identity token has expired again, and can only rely on the breath of Guzhou to pray that the old man with horns can find him. As for the sneak attack by the Taoist Luoyang, he had to rely solely on Guzhou to fight against him. Although he has the innate top treasure armor, and his body is the eternal and indestructible supergrade 10 refinements, he is facing the Fifth Order Peak Emperor now. Chapter 53-24. A single blow can destroy the Mighty One, who is the innate supreme treasure. If there was no Guzhou, he would be dead. It's faster. One chase and one escape. The distance between the two sides was not very far, and the glare attacked the surface of the ancient boat several times. Fortunately, the speed did not drop, but each attack caused the ancient boat to stop once, which was a waste of time. He is really afraid that the terrifying existence behind him will catch up. The speed of Guzhou is very fast, but the Taoists of the Six Suns can just bite in the rear. The terrifying existence has really come, and I am afraid it will be able to catch up in an instant. The fear in his heart grew more and more, and he now believed that the existence of terror was directed at him. Knowing that the 4 secret realms were so dangerous, he would not come. It should be transferred in the Senate Palace, or directly returned to the original star. If I went back then, there would not be so many things. Although the golden sword was very important, it was far worse than his receipt in the demon space. The origin of the golden sword at most let him deduct the power of all things, and then extract some useful kendo origins to enhance the current kendo. It's just a little profit. For this thing, if he falls, he will not be willing to die. At the same time, inside the Patriarch's palace, a line of 10 Sixth Order Emperors, as well as densely packed Fifth Order Emperors, are ready to go. Now, the Northern Territory Liuzhou has changed dramatically. Since Master True Spirit-handed over the Northern Territory to us, we have to solve it by ourselves now. This is natural. After several Sixth Order Emperors discussed, they were divided into 5 teams, with 2 Sixth Order Emperors in each team, and the combined strength was enough to be comparable to the best. Although most of them were taken over by surprise at the beginning, according to the nature of the Temple of Discord, few of the strong ones who were taken over were weak. Even if it is not as good as Zhujian, the two together are almost the same. Those Fifth Order Emperors are all at the pinnacle level, each comparable to the ordinary Sixth Order Emperors of the 4 secret realms. With such a big battle, the White Tiger Palace came to be embarrassed. I led the first team and sent it to the north of Zhangzhou, and the other teams went to several nearby states. They must suppress the changes and save Jian Wushuang by the way. Yes, everyone answered in unison, then began to send away. The Yuan Lao Palace has not yet established the position of the palace master, but the appeal of a dozen Sixth Order Emperors is still very strong, and soon a large number of powerful people in the Yuan Palace are gathered to the north. Wu Zhuo was single-handedly. When he arrived in Hangzhou alone, he went all out. It took a day from the teleportation array in Hangzhou to the Shangqing Palace. No way, only one big city in Hangzhou has a teleportation array. But its own strength is not weak in Liuzhou. There is only one supersect in Hangzhou and only one big city. After Wu's deity descended, he sat firmly on the pitch-black snake head, several times faster than Jian Wushuang's ancient boat. A super strong just appeared in Hangzhou, and after only a few breaths, he disappeared. This made the Sixth Order Emperor of the Super Sect extremely surprised, and quickly sent a message to the White Tiger Palace and reported the matter. Liuzhou changed, and Agni was killed. The White Tiger Palace had known about this for a long time, and this kind of thing was not a major event in the past. Generally, people were sent to investigate, and then hunted down without any haste. But this time, they didn't move. The true spirit had only said that when he left the 4 secret realms the day before yesterday, the northern realm was under the jurisdiction of the Yuan Elder Palace. Before they had time to evacuate the branch halls, shocking changes occurred. Don't say let them go to support now. It's enough to give the true spirit's face if you don't make trouble. Bai Yi sat firmly at the top of the hall, a cold color leaking through the tiger eyes. Huh, a bunch of trash. Although not very willing, he still quietly sent a Dharmakaya to the north. The reason why the White Tiger Palace is very resistant to the creation of the Yuan Lao Palace is not only because of selfishness, but because they were created by the gods. They have no selfishness at all. To manage the 4 secret realms well is the bounden duty of the White Tiger Palace. If the establishment of the Senate Palace can make the 4 secret realms more stable, he will support it more than anyone. But the current 4 secret realms are as simple as what no true spirit said. He has only recovered for a few days. How can he know what is difficult to do in each of them? Now that I have just made it a bit more stable, the Senator Palace has been established, and the 4 great secret realms have also been obtained. Isn't this not adding to the chaos? The White Tiger Hall is very special among the 4 halls. It is not like the Vermilion Bird Palace, where only a few people can manage the primitive world. There are many treasures and there are few people. There is no competitiveness at all. The Azure Dragon Palace is even more outrageous. Just a mainland chassis with 2 or 3 big cats and kittens above it, so you don't need to worry about it at all. Their duty is to conquer outside. But in this situation, where should they go to conquer? Xuanwu Temple is even more outrageous, sitting in 108 outer halls. It is equivalent to 108 higher worlds, in which the space is infinite, the strong are scarce, and there are many treasures. It was originally a relatively ordinary hall. However, the hall master of the Xuanwu Hall, for some unknown reason, recruited Feng Mo, one of the 5 great masters, into his command. Among the 5 major demon masters, the Wind Demon has the most stable personality and is good at refining puppets. In addition, Xian Yi inherited the core power in the Temple of the Gods, 3 major gods, 18 gods, and 108 messengers. The treasures and inheritance were left in the outer hall to Xian Yi. Let him be responsible for spreading it out, and don't want to be cut off. But Xuanyi had never given out these treasures at all in these years, and had all taken possession of them alone. With these treasures, 10 nests have been built, and in each nest are puppets. Had it not been for the arrival of the immortal trial, there would not be a living person in the outer hall, all puppets. The strength of these puppets is still very strong, and the weakest are the limits of the Taoist monarch, which can be comparable to the emperor. Some of the strongest puppets, he has also seen a few, and they can all display tier 6 combat power. Those puppets can be combined with tens of thousands of people, and their power is endless. And Xian Yi, the puppet legion that controls the entire 10 worlds, with such a huge power, in the Temple of Qishan, he is the most comfortable one, and he dares to break the wrist with the true spirit. Among the 4 halls, the most aggrieved one is their White Tiger Hall. It is said that they are in control of the 4 secret realms, rather than the 4 secret realms firmly grasping them. When the White Tiger Palace was first established, there were only 9 people. In addition to him, there are 8 messengers. The remaining guardian gods cannot be regarded as humans at all. At first, I said that I was staying to help them take care of the 4 secret realms. But in the end, I followed a statue, which was very old-fashioned and couldn't adapt at all. Please help me. Mimi Reading App can steal book tickets like stealing food. Come steal the book tickets of your friends and vote for me. Fortunately, he kept wooing the casual cultivators of the 4 great secret realms and let them settle in the White Tiger Palace. The Senate Palace was established, and he had a kick in the 4 secret realms. He didn't have a problem because he was afraid that the group of people would have opinions. It is these people who control the 4 secret realms. Without those hall masters of the subtemples, they control the vast secret realm. Chapter 53:25. The heavens are okay, like the wild ancient land, like the secret realm of the earth. They drink blood and fight in chaos. And they can't be suppressed if there are fewer people. In the realm, the earth temple they set up has recruited even mortals, but it still can't effectively suppress them. And they fight every day. As long as there are extra powerful people in the heavens, they will be sent to the earth. But over time, these people will have opinions. They are not puppets. Leave it to his mercy. There are no less powerful people in the earth realm than in the heavens. And those who go to the earth realm have a great chance of falling, and slowly, not many people dare to go. In the land boundary, it is difficult to recruit enough strong people. He even recruited a lot of the special lives in the Tomb of the Gods and sent them to the realm. Although these special lives are very cruel, they can at least listen to him and help him suppress those strong in the realm. There are huge secrets hidden in the realm. His deity sits in the realm all the time, and there are only 2 Dharmakayas in the celestial realm. The rest of the combat power was thrown into the land boundary and the Tomb of the Gods by him. Really considered stable, it is the mortal world secret realm. There is nothing to suppress there, only some local powerhouses, and setting up the White Tiger Hall to command it is enough. By Yi's law body, through the teleportation array, went directly to Baimu Zhangzhou. He will not show up easily this time. If he is a last resort, he will come forward. If the Senate Palace can make it up by itself, that would be great. It's just that in the past few years in the north, the teleportation array and the treasures offered can be said to be astronomical. He wanted to let go of such a piece of fat, and those subordinates would not easily leave. There is also the huge expenditure of the land boundary, which requires the treasures of the heavens, and the price of recruiting the strong is too high. Moreover, among the native emperors, it is very difficult for the emperor who is against the sky to appear, and the scenes of ordinary strength are unstoppable. The strength of Venerable Blazing Fire is actually quite good. He is one of the best in Liuzhou, but he was killed instantly. This shows the difference. Now he is going to invite a powerful emperor to be born, and he can't leave it to the palace of the elders. This time he specially sent to Zhangzhou, North Head, just for this matter. Guangmu. In ancient times he was called the Tianzuan. This is the real top emperor. Can be listed as 108 divine envoys, representing the characters of the gods. Among the Sixth Order emperors, those are extremely heaven-defying existences. The North Head is Zhangzhou. When he was moved into the Temple of Qishan, Zeng's was a huge mountain range, full of hundreds of thousands of mountains, endless, and there was still a turbid air current in the mountain, and the ordinary people would quickly lose their way when they entered it. Only the strong who become immortals can live in it. Therefore, there are very few strong people living in Zhangzhou, and there are only 2 or 3 big cats and kittens in the sect, and even a decent strong person has never been out. All this is actually due to the existence of Guangmu Tianzuan. The threshold of the chaotic airflow he left in Zhangzhou is too high, and there is no commonplace. Most of the strong people living here are strong from outside, who have come to take refuge here. As for survival here, it is impossible, and the place where he lives is in the depths of the air current. In the depths of Zhangzhou, on a lofty sacred mountain, there is an ancient hall. This is the dojo of Guangmu Tianzuan. Here, the airflow is very thin, and it is clearly visible in the hall without any muddy air. Bai Yi fell precariously. This Dharmakaya did not fight the battle, the ordinary white robe he wore, but the tall and straight body was not so beautiful, but very strong. Let me tell you that the book reading app I'm using recently, Mimyriad app, has a lot of sources, a full range of books, and fast updates. Brother Guangmu, don't you welcome me so? Bai Yi leaked a smile, looking at the closed hall. Click! The main hall slowly opened, and a burly man who was running dark gold walked out of it. His eyes were sunken, his nose was high, and his jaw was wide. Bai Yi. After the two looked at each other, each showed a strong momentum. Guangmu Tianzuan was slightly surprised and said, "You don't think that you can defeat me with a Dharma body?" "Haha, Brother Guangmu is too admirable, and am not here to talk to you." Bai Yi smiled awkwardly. His Dharmakaya is really not a wide-eyed opponent. After all, the opponent is one of the 108 divine envoys. If you want to be so unbearable, wouldn't it be a shame for the owner to take it out? Before the fall of the gods, he specifically explained to a few of them that they must be treated kindly to these old men who have not fallen. They must not be suppressed or forced. If they leave, let them go at any time. There were indeed some people who were afraid of death and escaped a catastrophe, such as Wu Zhuo, but Guangmu Tianzuan was different. He fell asleep in Zhangzhou after being injured and didn't participate later. When he woke up, the gods fell. He didn't want to go, and he didn't want to wait for the arrangements of the 4 halls, so he kept hiding in this hall. I don't know how many years have passed. "Come in." Guangmu reached out his hand and made a please gesture. After all, it was something left by Qixin, and he wouldn't be too much, although he still had the arrogance of the past. The two entered the hall and took their seats. Bai Yi went straight to the point and explained the current situation. The true spirit is revived, the highest trial is opened, and the patriarch's palace is established. As for the surprise change in Liuzhou, it is all trivial, which is not worth mentioning. When Guangmu Tianzuan heard the real spirit resurrecting, he inherited many memories of Qixin. His eyes were a little moist. As the messenger of the gods fell but did not stay with his old man. These years he has been living in guilt so that he could not leave Zhangzhou. Afraid of meeting acquaintances and being laughed at. Back then, the 3 major gods of the progeny of the gods have all fallen, and the 18 gods will not be spared. The fallen and the severely injured and sleeping have not been able to recover until now. Among the gods, he was spared alone. At the beginning, the gods fell, and the gods were unwilling to live, and all followed the gods to settle in the tomb of the gods and set up their graves. Looking at him again, he is alive now. There is nowhere to die if he wants to die. Bai said the key at first sight, and immediately made a request to come out of the mountain. "Brother Guangmu, the highest trial is to find the inheritor for the master. This is the rule set by the master at the time. Now that the trial is opened, it is about to enter the 4 secret realms, but the secret realm is turbulent, which is not suitable for the trial. Practice. Don't look at Bai Yi's impulsiveness. At ordinary times, the Qi-oriented heart in his body is not fake. He also has the wisdom that Xianyi has." Hearing the death of the god, Guangmu Tianzuan was really moved. Guangmu was surprised at first. "The 4 secret realms are turbulent." "Yes." Bai Yi watched a play and quickly continued. "As soon as the world has just stabilized today, in Liuzhou, great changes have occurred. The teleportation array has been destroyed, and the main hall of the branch hall represents the facade of the gods. There was a rampage on the spot, as well as the realm. Not long ago, the forest of 10,000 treasury was turbulent and almost destroyed the entire realm. It was resolved by Master True Spirit himself, but it didn't take long before the heaven realm had a problem." With that said, Bai Yi couldn't help but lower his head and began to curse that he was useless because the things the master entrusted to him back then were not done well. Chapter 53:26. Fleeing the strongest power began to spread throughout the ancient boat, and the fisherman sitting on the boat stood up directly. "Let's go." The voice of the old man with goat horns was deep. Glancing back, taking another look at the people below, Jian Wushuang withdrew his gaze. This place would soon become ruins, and even the entire Liuzhou would be engulfed. Boom! The void shattered, and the power erupting from the ancient boat made the surrounding mountain ranges tremble. When the people below looked up in confusion, the ancient boat was still in place, but Jian Wushuang and the old man with goat horns were actually millions of miles away. This speed had exceeded the limits of space, even challenging the Tier 6 Emperor. It was beyond ordinary comprehension. However, the old man with sheep horns still felt pressure emanating from within the city of Sheruo. The sun and moon shone brightly, two huge suns radiating light, spreading from Sheruo City, shaking the entire Liuzhou. Jian Wushuang turned his head to look back. In the dazzling light, there was a small black dot behind them. With a slight movement, his gaze deepened. It's him. That small black dot was none other than the Tier 6 Emperor manipulating a damaged palace, trailing behind them. Although his speed was slower than theirs, he had not allowed the distance to widen. Jian Wushuang had sensed some intentions from the other party long ago, and now, trailing behind them, it raised suspicions in him. The teleportation array was destroyed, and there was a sudden upheaval in Liuzhou. The hidden secrets were probably related to his arrival and had a connection with that formidable figure from the demonic path. The ancient boat sped quickly. In just the time it took to brew a cup of tea, it had already left the scope of Shangqing Palace. At this moment, Shangqing Palace was fully prepared, with several eternal treasures rising into the air. Who would have thought that just an hour ago, Shangqing Palace was still in a state of peace, with comings and goings? And now they had to flee directly. Venerable Laihua had fallen, and Sheruo City had been destroyed. The entire Liuzhou was going to be destroyed in an instant. Is this the ancient era? Indeed, it was brutal. You little devil from the demonic path. Yen Sanmu instantly turned around, and a third eye appeared fiercely on his forehead. Innate beast eye? No wonder he was named Yen Sanmu. Jian Wushuang momentarily looked dazed. In the sky, a giant human-shaped antelope appeared, its horns piercing through the heavens. You go on the ancient boat first. I still need to take someone with me. Yang Sanmu left behind these words. Before he could move, the avatar had already retreated hundreds of millions of miles. Just a moment ago, Wu's was avatar shattered, and that avatar fell in Sheruo City. Through the communication token, he had instructed Yen Sanmu in Shangqing Palace to take away a Dao Lord of the Broly clan. Now, there was no choice but to go back. The ancient boat was entirely manipulated by the fishermen. Even after the old man with the goat horns left, the speed did not diminish. Jian Wushuang had no idea whom the old man with the goat horns was going back to fetch. Before he could inquire, the figure disappeared within the space. He casually took out a jade slip. Damn it! Jian Wushuang couldn't help but curse inwardly. Now, behind him, there were many emperors fleeing, and their speed was not slow. He had already encountered several. With so many people fleeing together, they were bound to be caught up with. Although he didn't know who the terrifying presence that destroyed Liuzhou was, he could sense the unparalleled horror in the opponent's aura. Once encountered, it would be death. The target was too conspicuous. He couldn't escape with this group of people. Understanding this, Jian Wushuang immediately commanded the fishermen, "Go to North Muzhangzhou." Heading north to Hanzhou was close to the border of Liuzhou, but also more likely to be caught up. It was better to change direction and go to North Muzhangzhou, where a truly extraordinary powerhouse sat in command. Although not on good terms with the temple, they wouldn't stand by and watch others desecrate North Muzhangzhou. The fisherman standing at the bow of the boat paused for a moment, then, as per Jian Wushuang's instructions, adjusted the direction. It would take at least a whole day to travel from this location to North Muzhangzhou. Daoist Luyang, who was following behind, manipulated the damaged ancient hull. Seeing the slight adjustment in the direction of the ancient boat, his eyes flickered. "Elder, Are we not going to Hangzhou? Zhu Bachi asked cautiously. Lu Yang nodded slightly and said, Hangzhou is too close. Even if we go there, it's still fleeing. It's better to go to North Muzhangzhou, where there is the suppression of Guangmu Tianzuan. No one can offend there. Guangmu Tianzuan, a Tier 6 emperor who survived from ancient times, a former one of the 108 divine envoys who followed Qixin. Later, he settled in Qixin Temple, but did not get along with the four temples. He had been sitting in his own lair in North Muzhangzhou ever since. Hee, aren't you very interested in the golden sword? The kid in front has 12 golden swords in his hands. Lu Yang Daoist said with a sinister smile, 12 golden swords. Don't mention a Dao Lord Sword cultivator. Even a Tier 4 emperor would be envious. Could it be? Zhu Baxia quickly caught on. However, what he knew was only about killing and looting. Just now, when the old man with goat horns left, the two of them paid careful attention. Now, on the ancient boat in front, there was only Jian Wushuang. A Dao Lord, no matter how extraordinary, could he contend with a Tier 5 emperor? Zhu Bachi, being a giant in the demonic path, naturally carried a demonic nature in his temperament. He didn't care about the opponent's identity or background. As a Tier 5 emperor, Daoist, Lu Yang valued not the golden swords on Jian Wushuang's body, but Jian Wushuang himself. If he could capture Jian Wushuang alive and hand him over to that senior, he might receive substantial rewards and even have the opportunity to advance to the Tier 6 emperor and that ancient boat. He also coveted its existence, a top-tier spatial treasure. Its speed far exceeded that of an ordinary Tier 6 emperor. Many Tier 5 emperors did not possess such a rare eternal treasure. How could he not covet it? With the shock in Liuzhou, the death of an inheritor would probably go unnoticed. Lu Yang's face revealed a killing intent, and his speed increased once again. The ancient boat's speed was fast, but it was stable. Without the presence of the old goat-horned man, although the speed hadn't changed, it had lost the crucial element of security. Looking back again, the small dot behind had disappeared. Just as Jian Wushuang was about to relax, a dazzling black light suddenly struck. Boom! The dazzling light struck the ancient ship directly, producing a terrifying buzzing sound. Jian Wushuang's ears buzzed, and he only reacted after a while. Raising his eyebrows and looking back, Lu Yang's damaged ancient palace had somehow reached in front of him. In just a short while, it threw him behind again and rushed to the front. Although this terrifying attack could not harm him temporarily, his heart power was anxious. Hastily sending a message to the old goat-horned old man, Jian Wushuang found that the identity token had been locked. This crisis was too immense. Jian Wushuang didn't know what to do for a moment. The old goat-horned man had been gone for half a day, and there was still no sign. A bad premonition arose in Jian Wushuang's heart. If Yang Sanmu were to fall, he would be truly finished. The identity token was ineffective again. He could only rely on the aura of the ancient boat, praying that the old goat-horned man could find him. As for the sneak attack by Daoist Lu Yang, he had to rely on the ancient boat to endure it. Although he had a top-tier innate treasure armor and a body that underwent eternal indestructible 10 refinements, facing a peak Tier 5 emperor was a different matter. Chapter 53:27. This caused the group of city lord mansions who were looking after the teleportation formation to almost fall to the ground. The emperor who was sitting here in the temple directly sent the headquarters and was so scared that he did not dare to go out. There are 2 emperors of the 6th order, and there are more than 100 powerful men who can rival the emperors of the 6th order. This force was enough to smooth out several nearby states. Bai and they were hiding well. The emperor of the Yuan Palace didn't notice it at all, And at this time they rushed to Liuzhou, didn't stay here at all, got out of the city, directly rushed towards Liuzhou. Among these people, Guangmu also knew a lot, and he even looted a lot of them personally, and many of them were defeated by his men. Watching these people leave, Bai Yi shook his head. These mindless people, no matter how many people go to Liuzhou now, they can't find Jian Wushuang because they walked out of the direction. Jian Wushuang fled from the southeast towards this big city, obviously looking at the map. It's also close to Hangzhou, but the city of Hangzhou is much farther than this one. And there are no strong people in Hangzhou. The reason why Jian Wushuang fled towards Baimu Zhangzhou, I'm afraid he also knows the existence of Guangmu Tianzuan here. Bai quickly promoted Jian Wushuang's idea. It is a pity that the strong man in the Yuan Lao Palace has not considered this at all. He can't contact Jian Wushuang now and can't find Yang Sanmu, so he can only plunge into Liuzhou and search aimlessly. At the same time, outside Shero City, Wu's wood Dharma body exploded and fell, forming a huge barrier, trapping King White for an entire hour. That barrier consumes at least 3 eternal treasures of power. After the White King broke free, relying on that induction, his figure rose to the sky, turned into a streamer, and headed towards the north head of Zhangzhou. Jian Wushuang is already very close to the north eye of Zhangzhou. If it hadn't been for the Luyang Taoist behind him to keep attacking and stop Guzhou, he would have arrived in Zhangzhou now. Looking at the distance, it will take him at least half an hour to reach Zhangzhou. And then it will take another quarter of an hour to reach the largest city in Zhangzhou, Baimu, and the only city with a teleportation array, Beishan City. Taoist Luyang, you are not afraid that I will tell the people in the White Tiger Hall what happened today. By then, you will have no place to settle in the 4 great secret realms, and you will definitely fall. Jian Wushuang looked at the hall behind him and shouted loudly, Tao, if the opponent is not attacking, he can be faster. Just now, he felt a huge threat, as if a beast broke through the cage and was attacking in his direction. He was really afraid that he would be overtaken by that terrorist existence before he reached Beishan City. The old man with horns has not returned. Either he has fallen or is trapped by something. Now, he can only rely on himself, keep pulling the banner, first scare the Taoist Luyang, or he won't even be able to sit on the teleportation formation. Now he is alone. No one protects him. How to face this fifth-order Peak Emperor? Taoist Luyang stood outside the gate of the main hall with deep eyes, looking at Jian Wushuang, and said frantically, You stinky boy, do you think the old man was scared? Even if you let the people of the temple chase me down, you have to survive, and talk about it. Yang Sanmu has been trapped by him, and now he cannot protect himself. As long as he drags Jian Wushuang or grabs Jian Wushuang and dedicate him to the White King, he will be able to obtain countless treasures and be ranked 6th. At that time, I will find a hidden place and hide for hundreds of epochs. Everything has subsided. He is also a 6th-order emperor. He really doesn't believe that because of a Taoist monarch, the temple will chase and kill him a 6th-order emperor. This account, the temple should be clear. And Jian Wushuang has no news now. Even if he is killed, no one knows that he did it. With sufficient confidence, he didn't believe in Jian Wushuang's style. Seeing that he can't move the other party, Jian Wushuang is not talking nonsense. The only thing he can do now is to pray for the old man to come back, or there is a peak power in Beishan City to answer him. Otherwise, once he stops, Taoist Luyang can attack him instantly and capture him alive. If he doesn't stop to take the teleportation array, he has been flying on the ancient boat, and he wants to return to the Zhongzhou Yuan Lao Palace, which is estimated to be millions of years. Although Liuzhou is very close to Zhongzhou, according to the distance on the map, he can't reach it within 1,000,000 years. This doesn't work. If he arrives at Beishan City, and the old man with horns has not returned, he can only bite the bullet and continue to escape. Just got this idea. The fisherman at the bow of the boat flickered his eyes, turned his head, and said stiffly, "The master has explained that, if necessary, I will block all threats for you." Hearing these words, Jian Wushuang was overjoyed. He didn't expect this unsightly fisherman puppet to have such a magical effect. Then I thought about it. The person behind is the fifth-tier pinnacle, and he immediately asked, "The man chased by the rear, the fifth-tier pinnacle emperor, can you stop it?" "I can resist. 10 breaths." The fisherman replied stiffly. Jian Wushuang knew it, and immediately said, "Enough. 10 breaths." He had already sat on the teleportation formation and fled to Yuanyang Lake. He swears that the first thing after returning to Yuanyang Lake is to ask Wu Zhuo to send him back to the primitive world. Never stay in the heavens for another quarter of an hour. This road is simply too scary. When he encounters such a strong person, he can't resist and can only sit and wait for death. May not be able to escape. This is a very desperate thing. Running with speed and time, he soon arrived at Baimu Zhangzhou. Somehow, after entering Baimu Zhangzhou, the latent fear in his heart actually weakened a lot. There is still a quarter of an hour, and it will be here soon. Jian Wushuang put away his thoughts and kept his strength at the peak. The madness and slayer armor had appeared on his body. Beast God Domain also suddenly exploded in the next moment. A pair of huge wings opened and closed. He is ready to jump into the teleportation array at any time. Luyang Taoist behind him is more anxious than him. What is this kid thinking? He wouldn't think that I would dare not move him when entering Beishan City. When Taoist Luyang turned his mind, he turned his hand and took out a dark red pill, turned his head to look at Zhu Bacha, and said, "If there is a change later, you can take this pill. With its magic power, you can use the 8-armed demon. Will stop Jian Wushuang for a moment." Hearing the 8-armed demon, Wishing Bacchus' eyes are hot, nodded heavily. The 6-armed demon is already comparable to the 13 great swords. The legendary 8-armed demon is much stronger than the Taya heritage. In the history of the Celestial Demon Gate, the celestial demon body that can display 8 arms can advance to the 6th Order Emperor. He is a Taoist monarch who can barely use the 8-armed demon body. As long as he understands one of them, he can benefit infinitely. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5328. But when I thought I was facing the sword Wushuang of the heaven-defying Tao sovereign, I wish Bacha courageous and careful, and after accepting the pill, I began to prepare for the next battle. If there is no accident, Jian Wushuang will not stop. This is the best way. The one behind him can catch up quickly. Although he failed to catch Jian Wushuang alive, he was still able to lead the way and guide him to obtain a lot of treasures. If Jian Wushuang really has anything to rely on and dares to settle down in this city, he will definitely leave it behind. As for the rumors of Guangmu Tianzuan, he also knows 1 or 2, but he shouldn't be so unlucky. Luyang Heart Chassis calculated. The existence behind him can be reached in a quarter of an hour, and it is almost a quarter of an hour from Beishan City. There was a gap of 10 breaths in the middle. He only needs to stop Jian Wushuang for 10 breaths to complete the task. In his origin, a golden token was engraved with shadow and trembled. Soon. Jian Wushuang is also coming soon. You can reach Kitayama Castle in no time, and it's a desperate moment. The strength of the fisherman is not clear to him, but he can block the 6 breaths of Taoist Luyang, and he wants to come to at least the ordinary 5th Order Emperor level. There is still great hope for a puppet of this level, desperately resisting 10 breaths. The rest is up to his own good fortune. A group of pinnacle powerhouses in the Senate Palace in the southern Zhangzhou area, far away from them countless spaces, happen to pass by Jian Wushuang and others out of their own perception. If Jian Wushuang had gone to Hangzhou, he might still meet, but now it seems unlikely. He can only pray silently, and Guangmu Tianzuan can take action, rubbing the jade board on the thumb. Now I can only rely on it. As long as they are the peak powerhouses who have followed the gods, they should know this board. And as long as they see this board, they should all help. Boom. Without waiting for him to think, a black glare struck again, interrupting his thoughts and causing Gu Zhou to pause again. Jian Wushuang stabilized his figure, turned his head, and looked back. His eyes became extremely sharp. Humph, a fifth-order emperor. As long as he succeeds in the path, his combat power may be able to go straight to the fourth-order emperor. With the strength of his space origin, it won't take long for him to enter the fifth level. With his origin, after becoming a fifth-order emperor, Liu Yang, a fifth-order emperor, can be killed by flipping his hand. As long as I can leave alive this time, I will avenge this revenge in the future. As long as he can leave alive and file a lawsuit against this attack, the Taoist of the Six Suns will not escape death. Beishan Castle, an ancient city, stretches in the mountains, but it is much worse than Shero City on the power level. Regardless of the fact that there is a fifth-tier emperor sitting in the city, but on the top of the moat, it is a lot behind Shaluo City. After all, it belongs to the barren land, and there are no ordinary people. There are only some emperors and powerful people who take refuge, and Taoists rarely come here. Since the strong men of the Yuan Lao Palace left here, the strong men in Beishan City heard about Liuzhou and fled one after another. It's just that most of these people are emperors wanted by the temple, so they dare not go to other big states, so they can only flee toward the depths of Zhangzhou. The control of the temple here is only a teleportation formation, and the rest is ignored. This is also a face for Guangmu Tianzuan. The emperors or Taoists who still dare to stay in the city, most of them are dead pigs who are not afraid of boiling water and are holding a fluke in their hearts. Liuzhou is shocked, and everyone who escaped went to Hangzhou. And the source of the shocking change in Liuzhou, I don't know what it is now, but I heard that a terrifying existence appeared and killed Venerable Agni. Afterwards, Shero was rampant in Shero City, destroying all the teleportation formations in Liuzhou. This is obviously coming with a purpose. As long as you don't go to Liuzhou, don't you dare to come to Baimu Zhangzhou to make trouble. Although Baimu Zhangzhou is wild, and there is no decent powerhouse, the name of Guangmu Tianzuan resounds throughout the Northern Territory, and its strength ranks among the top superpowers in the Northern Territory. No matter how crazy the other party is, they won't come here to find it boring. The current situation is different from what these people think. In the muddy sky, a touch of black, ancient boat shuttled. The emperor in the city, when he first saw Gu Zhou, he didn't react. The next moment Gu Zhou arrived in front of him. This speed exceeds the limit of space, and it is almost time to touch. Gu Zhou had just entered Beishan City, and Liu Yang Taoist followed him. I really stopped here. It seems that this kid really has something to rely on. Taoist Liu Yang glanced coldly at the city. The city lord is just an ordinary fifth-order emperor, and he doesn't dare to make mistakes before him. The emperor who is stationed here in the temple is only tier 4. Even if he is killed, he will hide for hundreds of epochs at most, spend some treasures, and get rid of sin with just a few clicks. When the teleportation formation was still 1,000,000 miles away, Jian Wushuang roared, "It's now! Stop him!" After leaving these words, his figure flashed directly off the ancient boat, and the 10-linked flesh body broke out completely, turned into countless dark lines, and flew towards the teleportation formation. Thousands of bodies. This is the super-quality body. At the limit, his origin and divine body can be cut into countless pieces. Even if the emperor wanted to kill him, it was not that simple. His figure just left Gu Zhou, the fisherman's figure changed, and he drew a long knife from his back. Facing the Liu Yang Taoist, who came after him, he was not afraid of death. Say 10 breaths, then 10 breaths. The ancient boat was cast in ancient times, and the fisherman was obtained from the wind demon. The strength is comparable to the Fifth Order Emperor, and he is not afraid of death. At the beginning, the 3 eyes of the sheep brought him, and he was going to be for the younger generation. Later, in a disaster, he put the fisherman on the ancient boat and completely became a fisherman. Liu Yang Taoist saw the fisherman standing in front of him and jumped down from the mutilated hull. Go and stop Jian Wushuang. Give me 3 breaths. His voice is very confident. As long as 3 breaths, he will kill the puppet in front of him. Hum. In the mutilated hull, the black mist is missing and bursts out of the air. The fisherman wanted to stop, but the 6-armed celestial demon turned into a Taoist priest, smashed it open. Blow me. The heavenly demon turned into by the Taoists of the 6 suns towered thousands of miles away, shattering the void with 1 punch, and with 6 arms, it threw out tens of thousands of punches in an instant. The fisherman's violent swordsmanship was difficult to resist, but after a few punches, the treasures on his body were shattered. Liu Yang Taoist sneered, and all 3 breaths were long, and 2 breaths were enough. How could a puppet who didn't even have the eternal treasure, and his combat power was weak and pitiful, how could he stop him? At the next moment, the 6-handled demon cone appeared in his hand, shining brightly with infinite light. It's the 6 suns, hidden in the city lord's mansion. The city lord of Beishan, who did not dare to come out, saw the battle in the sky, revealing a look of surprise. Liu Yang's combat power is terrifying. Although it is of the same rank, the strength is much worse. He can't stop it when he goes out. He can only appeal and wait for the people from the temple to come. https:// mobile version reading URL. Chapter 53:29. At the same time, Jian Wushuang was already outside the teleportation array, yelling while running away. Isn't the inheritor of the Tomb Mountain? I will confess to the White Tiger Temple quickly and come to rescue. Hidden in the dark, Bai Yi and Guangmu Tianzuan looked at each other and laughed secretly. It's this time still pulling the banner. This inheritor is really afraid of death. When Guangmu was about to say something, when he looked at Jian Wushuang carefully, he found the pale green jade board, and his eyes shrank suddenly. This is... Bai Yi next to also noticed this. The 2 of them couldn't believe it, especially Bai Yi. How could the personal things of the gods appear here? And they are still in the hands of an inheritor. If he remembers well, this board should have entered the tomb of God with the ambiguity. How would it appear here? Looking at the aura above, the 2 of them confirmed that it was definitely something of a god. How could he have this thing? Both said at the same time. Guangmu Tianzuan wondered how Jian Wushuang would have it. Could it be a disciple of Qixin? But isn't the highest trial just beginning now? No matter how fast it is, I will never give the personal things of the gods to a Taoist monarch. Bai wondered how this board was born, and it clearly entered the tomb of the gods. Could it be that? He secretly guessed that he thought of the revival of the true spirit and had been to the tomb of the gods several times. And he almost cursed when he thought of this. Are there not enough treasures in the temple of Qi? Didn't even let go of the old master's body. As expected, he had a rebellious heart. Guangmu was just beside him. He didn't dare to swear. After this time, he must go to the Sea of Origin and ask the real spirit what is going on. I don't have any old faces anymore. One person dominates the Sea of Origin, enjoying all day, changing trials at will, not to mention these, now even the tomb of the gods dare to move. Is there still a king's law? Bai Yi, what's the identity of this person? The matter of the tomb's sacred mountain, Guangmu didn't know at all. Bei's expression changed, and it was not easy to answer for a while, because he didn't know it too much. To ask Zhu Yi, he was responsible for the primitive world. At present, the inheritors have not yet been screened, and they have not yet settled in the four secret realms. This inheritor can be here, but he knows the reason, but he doesn't know his identity. He could only say vaguely, I heard that it had something to do with Shanjun, and he was moved to the four secret realms by the real spirit. When the two chatted casually, Jian Wushuang had already arrived at the teleportation formation. With a wave of his hand, he took out a few treasures, all of which were worth about tens of thousands of sacred stones. Quickly open the teleportation array. You can go anywhere. He didn't idle while talking, and went straight to the teleportation array. But these emperors don't eat this set. Although the city was in chaos, and the emperors were fighting, they did not dare to let anyone go without the above order. Especially Jian Wushuang, a Taoist monarch. They stopped. If it were the two in the sky, they might have to do it. An enchantment blocked Jian Wushuang's path, and a black-clothed emperor stopped him in front of him. Xiao Daojun, dare to speak wildly, take it from me. Jian Wushuang's face was fierce. Seeing that the fisherman was about to be unable to hold it, the broken hall behind him also chased him up, but he was stopped. It only takes a breath, he can be teleported away, and now he is not sent to the teleportation array. He couldn't speak when he was angry. Boy, I have already sent a message to the temple. They said that there is no such person as you at all, so you will be honest. When they came to the palace of the elderly, they reported to the White Tiger Hall, but he was stopped by Yi in advance and asked them to block the teleportation formation so that no one could let go. Now that Gu Zhou is gone, Jian Wushuang has nowhere to escape. Only the teleportation array can help him escape. You're looking for death. Jian Wushuang roared, and the long sword made from the source appeared in his hand. There is a black emperor, but he is really not afraid of second-order combat power. Facing a Taoist monarch, he was actually threatened, and the emperor in black was also angry and shouted, arrogant! Standing in the incomplete ancient temple, Zhu Bacha saw all this and was secretly happy. Now he doesn't need him to stop him, but he still went down to the ancient palace, ready to take the opportunity to attack Jian Wushuang. He didn't dare to be careless. If Jian Wushuang escaped, he wouldn't be able to explain, and Jian Wushuang still had 12 golden swords on him. After feeling that only Zhu Bacha appeared behind him, Jian Wushuang calmed down. Fighting with this emperor now is very unfavorable to him. If it weren't for being chased by someone, he would really want to kill the Black Emperor with a single sword. The opponent's spatial origin is not as powerful as him. Although his kendo origin is not yet complete, he is still very confident in dealing with this kind of half-hanging emperor. This kind of second-order emperor still relies on the treasure to pile up, and it is no different from those first-order emperors outside. Now, his combat power is 10,000 times divine body, super grade 10 refined physical body, and the ultimate kendo has reached the 7th level, which can be the level of harmony. Jidao even stepped into the 6th level, and the power of swallowing reached its peak. There is no threat under the emperor. Among the emperors, in the 4 great secret realms, it is difficult for the emperor of the 3rd order to threaten him. Facing the emperor in black, Jian Wushuang let out a cold snort and instantly turned around, killing Zhu Bacha, who was backward. Yep, I wish Bacha was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Jian Wushuang to even dare to look back, and immediately exploded and revealed the incarnation of the 6-armed demon. The divine body also exploded to 10,000 times, a level equivalent to Jian Wushuang. But his physical body, although incarnate as a 6-armed demon, it is only at the level of a high-grade physical body, and Jian Wushuang is not at the same level. Not to mention the origin, it is nothing short of it. Dead. Heaven's penalty came in an instant, and a sword rushed into the sky. I wish Bacha hard to resist. 6 arms burst, and none of them can stop. How can he be so strong? Wow. He didn't expect to fight head-on. He couldn't hold Jian Wushuang's move. The dorsal fin was surging. He swallowed the dark red pill in one mouthful, and instantly 2 arms grew again. 8-armed demon. The divine body and the physical body doubled again, but the origin remains the same, and the improvement is limited. Fortunately, it was difficult to block this sword. The next moment, before he could react, Jian Wushuang had already arrived behind him, and he hadn't even noticed his strange body and speed. An arm passed through his chest. Swallow! Jian Wushuang clenched a fist and swallowed it like a flood, rushing into Zhu Baka's body, breaking it down instantly. Kill this kind of guy. He has used 2 tricks to give the right face. If he knew he could still improve, he would have rushed forward and smashed Zhu Baka's head with a punch. The Emperor in Black, who was watching this scene, was terrified, and the next moment several emperors rushed out to guard the teleportation formation. Wow! A large number of origins were swallowed by Jian Wushuang, and by the way, an ancient magic attack was decomposed from the origins of Zhu Bacha. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 53:30. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. The incarnation of the demon strengthens the uniqueness of the divine body and the flesh. This kind of faculty is not available in the outside world. After entering the Temple of Qishan, he has not obtained any faculty. This is the first faculty. It's just that I don't have time to think about it now. After putting away the Sumeru mustard, I looked at the battle in the sky in the distance. Now, he is nowhere to escape. The fisherman had blocked 3 breaths, but he was already broken, breaking the demon cone, slamming on his body time and time again. The vitality core in the body shook, so this puppet can still maintain its peak combat power. The puppet that Feng Demon shot was really extraordinary. Damn it, kill it for me! Lu Yang attacked frantically while paying attention to the teleportation array. Seeing Jian Wushuang standing desperately outside the teleportation formation, he was completely relieved, but for the sake of safety, he still didn't dare to be careless. Directly used his trump card to disintegrate the puppet fisherman with the momentum of thunder. 6 arms, grasping the fisherman's limbs and head, looked at him with grim eyes and said gloomily, "I'm going to see how strong you are." Chi, chi, chi. After a tearing sound, Taoist Lu Yang roared, and the fisherman was completely torn into pieces by him. Then the 6 hands were united, a dazzling light flashed, and there was no fisherman in the sky, and finally turned into ashes. Only 1 ancient boat was left. 5 breaths. It was almost as he expected, but it was half the fisherman's estimate. This is the difference between puppets and life. The strength of a puppet is fixed, but there are unlimited possibilities in life. Facing Lu Yang Taoist, Jian Wushuang was not prepared to die. Now that there are no back players, there is only one fight to the death. Besides, that terrifying existence is already very close, and he can come with a few breaths, and he must stay here today. If he really fell, it was not others who killed him, but the emperors of those temples. Jian Wushuang's anger burst into his forehead. Taoist Lu Yang arrived in an instant, looked at Jian Wushuang, and sneered. Why, not convinced, going crazy. It's ridiculous. For the sake of safety, he didn't take the lead in attacking Jian Wushuang, but rushed into the teleportation array and damaged it wantonly. The teleportation formation here is only the lowest level, and the defense is average, and he can completely destroy it after several shots. Against the Taoist Lu Yang, Jian Wushuang didn't have any confidence, and he didn't have the ability to fight back, but he had complete certainty against the black-clothed emperor who stopped him. Let's get an operation on you. The sword has no double-faced color like a dead person, and it has become sallow. The emperor in black dared not resist facing the Taoist six sons, and could only disperse to one side. Some timid emperors had already rushed towards the temple. The formation there is more powerful, and their duty is to guard the teleportation formation. Now that the teleportation formation is destroyed, there is no need to stay. Just send the matter back to the headquarters. Among the black-clothed emperors who were avoiding everywhere, there was the one who stopped him earlier. Jian Wushuang's figure disappeared into the space and appeared in front of the Black Emperor in the next moment. What are you going to do? The Black Emperor said angrily. Taoist Luoyang went crazy. They were powerless to stop. They had no choice but to leave. And now Jian Wushuang actually stopped him. Jian Wushuang had a hideous face, like an evil spirit, and said coldly, "What do you say I want?" Boom! A faint thought power spread out, and the next moment it burst. One thought of the universe. It's been a long time since I tried my best. In the 10,000 years in the demon suppression space, he was suffocated for a long time, and since he came out, he didn't have a decent opponent. Now, it is a very good whetstone against the Black Emperor. It's not too much to pull a backing before death. Wow! The absolute immortal formation came out with the power of thought, the most difficult enemy killer today, and his strongest battle formation. Sword Dao was upgraded to the 7th level, and Ji Dao also reached the 6th level. Using the strongest absolute immortal formation, it could burst out 720 swords. 720 strongest phantom swords are floating around. "Kill me!" Jian Wushuang roared. The emperor in black wanted to resist, but was unable to fight back. Surrounded by the sword formation, he had no chance at all. "Do not! You dare to kill me! I am the guardian of the temple!" The Black Emperor was not reconciled. He also didn't expect Jian Wushuang to be so strong that he could even kill him. How could a Taoist make a strong city like this? This scene also shocked the Taoists of the Six Sons. There have been a lot of things against the sky, such as the Taoist beheading the emperor, but usually some first-order emperors or some wounded emperors are killed. Now, Jian Wushuang beheaded a second-order emperor, and the opponent's strength was intact. This is too strong. No wonder it caused Shadowpin's existence to expose his identity and kill all the way. Shireiqi and Tianzu and Guangmu, who were hiding in the dark, were not too surprised by this. Bai Yi is a puppet and is not interested in this. Guangmu Tianzuan, who had lived in ancient times, had seen a lot of heaven-defying Tao monarchs, and there were even some heaven-defying monarchs, which was even more amazing than this. Moreover, most of the powerhouses in the 4 great secret realms are descendants of ancient times. The strengths are not uniform, and compared with the real ancient monks, they are far behind. Compared with him, he is also the 6th-order peak emperor. He is much stronger than the ancient descendants in the 4 great secret realms, and he can sweep across the same level. But in the ancient times, there were still a lot of those ancient Xiao stronger than him. Although the Qixin line is strong, it still cannot fully represent the ancient times. Among the emperors, the real invincible existence is still those gods and generals. The strength of the 108 messengers can only be regarded as the absolute top, and the gods represent the symbol of invincibility. Under the cosmos, God will go out of his way, and there will be nothing that cannot be solved. Each is the ultimate emperor, with strength against the sky. Although the outside world does not have a strong inheritance, the ultimate existence is a lot more. He heard by mention that there are thousands of ultimate Tao monarchs in the 4 great secret realms now, as well as in the primitive world. More than 200 ultimate existences. There are so many masters of the ultimate way. In the ancient times, countless years have accumulated, and there are only so many. Unexpectedly, the outside world now has such a strong nurturing power. What they don't know is that now the external pressure is huge. The primitive universe has to nurture some powerful existences to protect itself. As for the more than 1,000 ultimate princes, they almost cleared hundreds of nearby universes before collecting so many people. He was treated as a treasure by the true spirit, hiding on a small island in Yuanyang Lake, and was also receiving some inheritance, directly avoiding the previous trials. There are also some immortals among them, just mastering the ultimate way. It is not suitable to send to the outer hall, so they stay in the four secret realms. Guangmu Tianzuan looked at Jian Wushuang with emotion. No wonder he would get something close to the gods. His strength was so heavenly, even in ancient times he would be cultivated as an emperor. Chapter 53:31. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. The emperor in black finally turned into ashes, leaving no trace of breath. Since the ultimate kendo entered the 7th level, some of the structures in the Ju Xian formation gradually did not suit him, but they hadn't been almost improved yet. It seems that he will have no chance in the future. The towering demon incarnation destroyed half of Beishan City. The city lord who was sitting here had already ran to the depths of Zhangzhou, with people not daring to leak his head. I was afraid that Luyang would go crazy and would kill him too. Click! Jian Wushuang, whose physical body has reached the limit, exudes a colorful halo. Taoist of the 6 Suns, I have no grievances with you. Why do I have to get to this point? Although he guessed that the identity of the 6 Suns is unusual, it may be the opposition forces in the Temple of Qishan, but now there is no other way. Hope the opponent will not directly kill the killer. As long as the time is delayed, there will always be miracles. The true spirit gave him all the jade boards of the gods, and he should be valued very much. As long as he held it for a while, the true spirit might appear. The Taoist Luyang smashed some black-clothed emperors casually, and his towering body overlooked the little bit Jian Wushuang, revealing a touch of hideousness. Jian Wushuang, don't be clever. Even if the temple master comes today, he won't be able to save you. Luyang's voice was very gloomy. He is very loyal to the Shadow Sect and has always had great expectations of the Shadow Sect. I hope that that day Shadow Sect defeats the temple and truly controls the 4 secret realms. From this point of view, Taoist Luyang didn't know enough about Qishan Temple. When Jian Wushuang heard the Lord of the Temple, he immediately thought of the 4 halls that the old man Yang Jiao said. He was the territory of the Lord Zhu Yi in the primitive world. This is the site of the White Tiger Palace Lord. Taoist of 6 Suns, you must not be deceived. The 4 secret realms are different from what you think. The Lord of the Temple is not the strongest of the 4 secret realms at all. There are many people who are more powerful than him. He was right. The 4 secret realms really didn't belong to the White Tiger Palace. The real controller was the true spirit. Taoist Luyang has been a member of the Shadow Sect since he was very weak. How could he be frightened by this and sneered? You arrogant boy, don't think that you come from the secret realm of the Tomb of the Gods, and you feel that you have enough knowledge. I know God better than you. With that, he pointed to the sky above. From Luyang's point of view, the power of Shadow Sect was not something that Jian Wushuang, a Taoist monarch, could imagine. Seeing this scene, Jian Wushuang understood that the other party was a fool, like a trapped beast in a cage, sitting on a well and watching the sky. Not to mention strength, he knows a lot more than Taoist Luyang. He at least knew that this was the Temple of Qishan. The outside world is the sky, and the sea, here is a birdcage. Boom. In the sky in the distance, a white-haired man was extremely fast, much faster than Guzhou. Jian Wushuang had already arrived in front of him when he sensed the opponent. Looking at the man in front of him, he couldn't help trembling. His breath was extremely terrifying. He was almost like Shan Jun, but Shan Jun was injured and suppressed at the beginning, which may not be his true strength. Gray hair? Jian Wu's eyes leak surprise. White hair is not the key. The key is the breath, which is actually very similar to him. It is the breath of perfect flesh. Could it be that the opponent is also a super-grade flesh body? Inheritor. The White King who had just arrived revealed greed in his eyes. The physical similarity made him instantly understand that the inheritor in front of him was actually a super-quality physical body, which was even more perfect than he had imagined. King Bai looked up to the sky and roared, making no secret of his greedy color, and laughed and said, "God is helping me." Super-quality flesh, complete Tao. Once this inheritor is taken away, he will be stronger in the future than it is now. He is now relying on external forces. Although his body is perfect and his origin is comparable to the ultimate, he is ultimately limited only 3 days. After seizing this inheritor, according to the gods, he will obtain everything from the inheritor, including the origin and the divine body, as well as the physical body. The Taoist Liu Yang, who was standing on the side, saw King Bai. Although he didn't know him, he knew that it was the predecessor of the Shadow Sect who had arrived. Below, Liu Yang, the 14th generation disciple of Shadow Sect, has seen the predecessors. Taoist Liu Yang took away the incarnation of the demon and changed his way, kneeling down on one knee, holding his chest with one hand, respectfully. King White had no interest in him. He just nodded, took out a mustard seed at will, and threw it to the other party. There are many treasures in it, but compared with Jian Wushuang, it's not much. This is also the rules set by the gods. Treasures are nothing, but Liu Yang Taoist talents are important. This is the pattern. If there is no such rule, he can kill the opponent out of his breath, save a large amount of treasure, and keep it for himself in the future. Wouldn't it be better? The gap is here. Jian Wushuang looked at all this with despair in his eyes. Looking at the other person's eyes, he couldn't die easily. This place is not suitable for long. You also follow me. The White King stopped for 2 or 3 breaths. He didn't have a long time, so he didn't dare to delay. The back road was planned long ago, and now the evacuation couldn't be better, and there was no strong man in the temple along the way. Jian Wushuang closed his eyes slightly. This time he was dead. At this moment, he was relieved, did not hate other people, but hated that he was not strong enough. He has to admit that his luck has been good enough, although the energy is difficult and dangerous. He has achieved what he is today. If it really falls this time, it's nothing. He, who had reached the 5th level of mental strength, could see him better than the emperor. I fate forever. This life is enough. If there is a chance, he will not hesitate. Just when he was desperate, a faint breath rose in an instant, but it was here in an instant. Mr. Bai, you are afraid that you won't be able to take him away today. Bai Yi and Guangmu Tianzuan stepped out side by side, and there were 5 6th-order emperors in all directions, already surrounded. The 5 black-robe emperors instantly rose up a large formation, surrounding them all. The broad-eyed Tianzuan yelled even more, his figure soaring, a pair of incomparably big eyes, illuminating the world. Bai Yi is a silver armor with a long knife in his hand, and the aura exuding from above is enough to destroy the world. After discovering that he was surrounded, Liu Yang panicked instantly. King Bai also leaked a surprised look. He didn't notice Bai Yi's ambush, which was beyond his expectation. However, after discovering that Bai Yi came only after the incarnation, the heart he was holding was also let go. A Dharmakaya, you are as stupid as Wuzhua. As soon as the voice fell, the battle started. Rumble! A broad black robe flew out, and instantly swept him and the Taoist Liu Yang. There was a terrifying battle in the outside world. The White King, one man fights 7 emperors. Among them, the strongest person, Guangmu Tianzhen's combat power, has also reached the top, but compared with the White King, it is still weaker. The origin and the divine body are much different. The origin of the White King has been exhausted, and now it is the origin of 10,000 ways. In short, it is not his origin. Use 1 point less 1 point. Chapter 53:32. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign, but the 68,000 times the divine body is genuine. If he confronts Guangmu alone, he can still get away, but there is Baiyi's law bodies beside him. Regardless of just the law bodies, the combat power is actually close to the top. The law bodies are so strong, the true bodies can be paid off. No wonder the gods told him that he could escape when he met Baiyi's real body, and he didn't even mention whether he could fight. The remaining 5 unidentified emperors, forming a large formation, can also be comparable to the most powerful ones. There are 3 great fighters. In the Tomb of the Gods, not all of the powerful special beings are superb. After reaching the 6th rank, some of them have ordinary strength, which is stronger than their flesh and blood beings, but they are not much stronger. The other 5 emperors are okay. They just form a battle formation, which can trap him, but can't suppress him. If one-on-one, only 3 or 5 moves can be broken. King Bei's eyes flashed, and his body suddenly twisted. Go straight to the battle formation formed by the 5 emperors. A bunch of idiots. Boom. King Bai blasted out with a punch and immediately retreated from the battlefield. When he wanted to chase and kill him, the 2 of Guangmu Tianzuan and Bai instantly attacked, and they had to give up. If you want to break the game, you can only solve the weakest first. He gritted his teeth and resisted the 2 of them, and was going to break the battlefield. The White King, whose divine body almost surpassed the limit of the emperor, soared to hundreds of millions of miles, covering the sky and the sun. A grasp of the void, the might of the sky, broken. One word came out, as if the words came out and the law followed, directly breaking the battlefield, and the 5 emperors vomited blood and retreated. The goal is achieved as long as it is defeated, and now there is no time to kill them all. Bei's eyes grew colder. This time he miscalculated, and he also looked up at the Yuan Palace. He thought he could pick up a leak or put it to the end, but he didn't expect that the other party would be so powerful, which caused him to fall into a difficult position. I couldn't suppress King Bai, but now he and Guangmu are left, and the chances of wanting to keep each other are very small. I knew that my 2 Dharmakayas came together, but now I have to waste a treasure to win him. Bai said regretfully. After Guangmu heard this, his eyes leaked joy, and he hurriedly said, Bai, if you have a treasure, use it. The origin of this servant is too weird, and it will change when you are late. As he said, the origin of the White King becomes stronger as he fights, but also less and less. He really wants to drag on. He is afraid that both of them will have to explain here. The opponent's combat power is among the divine envoys, and can also be ranked in the forefront. The 2 of them are not opponents yet. If Baiyi's deity comes, he can still win the opponent, but now a Dharma body is a little stronger than Wu's was Dharma body. It will not have much effect at all. It is okay to kill some native monarchs in the 4 secret realms. It's not that simple to meet these old guys. Okay, please also ask Brother Guangmu to hold him. I need a little time. Baiyi said in a low voice, and there was an extra ball in his hand. It was covered with a layer of frost. This is the first gate in the north, the highest eternal treasure that came up first. And it is also a one-time treasure. Once used, it is gone. At this moment, it is too late to feel distressed, this time to save Jian Wushuang. He must go to Zhu Yi to ask for a treasure to make up for himself. He didn't want Zhu Yi to have so many treasures. Facing the hundreds of millions of miles of King, Bai, Guangmu Tianzan's eyes looked at the world, and he looked at each other in anger. Rebel, you have forgotten whose courtier you are. You dare to make a mistake here. As the messenger of the gods, Guangmu Tianzuan is extremely majestic. Although his strength is a little worse than the opponent, his aura is extremely fierce. King Bai didn't want to eat him. Although he was taken aback at first, he was a little frightened, but I don't know how long it has been since the gods have fallen. He sneered and said, "It's a waste dog that doesn't want to be buried. Install. If your master has the heart, how can you be here? You are just a trash abandoned by the ancient times, and you dare to be a mad dog in front of you. When I was in ancient times, you were not born yet." A series of verbal abuse pierced into the heart and flesh of Guangmu Tianzuan, and he was angry with his flash hat and directly shot into the sky. "You are looking for death." Guangmu Tianzuan shouted angrily. The two played against each other. Only in a moment, the powerful aura spread to the entire Zhangzhou, and the 100,000 mountains trembled. Puff! Guangmu's heart was shocked, a powerful source struck, and he was actually injured. "Haha, Guangmu, can you dare to fight the divine body?" King Bai defiantly said. Just now, the origin attack. He was actually at the end of the crossbow. That strand of origin was almost consumed by him. The divine body was able to last for 3 days, and the origin could not be maintained for a moment. Guangmu Tianzuan looked solemn and said coldly, "Don't say a punch. I will take your life." "Huh, arrogant." King Bai leaked a trace of disdain, and the broad-eyed Tianzuan was not afraid to flash his tongue. 68,000 times the divine body is much stronger than the special lives of the divine tomb. With his full punch, it is not easy for Guangmu to take it. Really desperately, it's really not impossible for him to kill Guangmu in 3 days. Seeing Bai Yi retreat, he knew that these two people still have a backhand. Now it is not the time to desperately, and when there is no trouble formation, Bai Yi is starting the backhand again. Now is his only chance to escape WWW. Novel. Who knows what is waiting for Bai Yi? If he can't go, he is stupid. He squeezed in the void, and a powerful divine power condensed into one extreme point. This punch was like the material power of a world bursting from one point, eventually evolved into a world born from the void to the void. Space cohesion. Breaking the law with force is really true. The punch of the divine body could actually shatter the origin of the wide area space, causing his figure to fall into a dark turbulence. Boom! With a punch, he shuttled through the space, directly in front of Guangmu. Faced with this punch, Guangmu Tianzuan turned his eyebrows, and this punch could not be avoided. He could only take it hard. Jian Wushuang, who was put into his sleeve robe, felt that momentum through the induction of space, and this power made his mind tremble. The outside fighting lasted for less than a few breaths, but every time he fought, the space he was in could tremble and even showed signs of breaking. Standing in the dark corner, the Taoist Luoyang was also surprised by the fighting outside. He was stronger than Jian Wushuang and felt the more obvious. Sixth Order Emperor? Is it really that strong? Why is it a little different from what he saw? He has seen a scene where the sect master of the Heavenly Demon Gate takes action and becomes an 8-armed heavenly demon fighting a Sixth Order Emperor. That's it. How can there be such a shocking, shattered space origin? This is what the Emperor can do. Is it? He didn't even cultivate in the space to understand that since he stepped into the origin of the space, his realm has stagnated, and he can only be improved by accumulation of treasures. Otherwise, he would have no hope of Sixth Order in his life. As the messenger of the gods, how could Guangmu Tianzuan not have some special skills? Facing that punch, the cyan armor gathered on his body, gathered his whole Buddhist supernatural power, and hit the strongest palm of his life, directly blasted out, head-on with King Bai. Chapter 53:33. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign, the two meet. It's like a world being flattened by a palm, but a flat world still has the same material power. Boom! The body of Guangmu Tianzuan was instantly pushed back, and the divine body also began to drop suddenly at this moment, which had been reduced to 30,000 times. His divine body had been transformed to a limit of 50,000 times. The enchantment White King broke his divine body with a single punch, directly injuring him seriously. Too strong. It is already comparable to the gods of the year. You must know that the gods and generals of that year can be said to be the invincible existence among the emperors, and they are the strongest group of emperors in their long river of time and space. That is the ultimate emperor, and not many have reached that level in the ultimate way. How could this king, White, become so strong? If he remembers correctly, these people were not willing to take refuge in the temple of Chishan at the beginning, and they were all drained of their origins, leaving only the divine body thrown into the mezzanine of the 4 great secret realms. It's not surprising that they can come out. After all, the 4 great mysteries have been running through for so many years. It is not surprising that these old guys come out, but it is a bit outrageous to have such a strong strength. After the first blow was effective, King White instantly turned around and turned into 3,000 streamers scattered around, unexpectedly trying to escape. But when he was just dispersed, snow fluttered in the sky. A little snow falls. This scene reminded him of the Lord of Extreme Cold, an extremely powerful master of the universe. This is the realm of fame of that cold master. Wherever you are, everything turns into frost. 3,000 streamers had just dispersed and were directly frozen in the air, no matter how King Bai moved. He couldn't break free. Bai said with a relaxed look and smiled lightly, "You can't escape. In this extremely cold field, you are a frozen dead fish. The method of the Lord of the Universe, no matter how strong the Emperor is, it can't be broken. If there is a gap between the Taoist and the Emperor, then the Emperor and the Lord of the Universe are the gap between the sky and the earth. If you want to step up, it is unwilling to do it. Lord against the heavens of the reverse universe, but if the Emperor wants to defend against the heavens, the ones against the heavens are the heavens in the long river of time and space. It's not one level at all. It is hundreds of millions of times more difficult than the Taoist guard against the sky. In ancient times throughout history, there was also an emperor who could reverse the long river of time and space. That emperor was brilliant and talented. Countless people thought that another starry sky master was born, but unfortunately the final death of his life was condensed on the emperor's fate. She was the one who once pierced Qiu Huangcheng with a single sword, and did not even look at great Emperor Jueyan. The real emperor, among the emperors, no one is his one-sword enemy, and the 18 gods and generals have to stay behind. The only one, the emperor who obtained the name of God in the temple of Chishan. The body of the emperor is comparable to the divine Lord. Such existence is the luck of an era, allowing countless people to see this dazzling character. A character like the White King, in the hands of that existence, can't do a trick, let alone break through these realms. Brother Guangmu, I have already told Wuzhua about this place. He will be there soon, so we can just wait here. Bai smiled. This treasure must not be wasted. When Wuzhua came, he had to humiliate the opponent severely. Even his own people looked down on him. And Zhu Yi, she will have to owe herself a favor from now on. Jian Wushuang's talent is good, and he will become an emperor in the future. He is a figure who has the hope to set foot on the ranks of the top, and he can't just give it up. When Guangmu Tianzuan heard Wuzhua coming, his face sank. But on second thoughts, he didn't follow Chishan into the tomb of the gods. How could he be qualified to taunt Wuzhua? Thinking of this place, his complexion also eased, and he nodded in agreement. I have arrived at Wuzhua in Liuzhou, wandering around, and I can't even find the breath of King Bai, let alone where I went to find it. The same is true for the strong men who have entered Liuzhou's Palace of the Elders, and there is no way to start. In Beishan City, Eyes were cold after receiving the call. It was Bai Yi who sent him the information. It would be best if Jian Wushuang was fine. Once there was an accident, Zhenling would not let him go. He can now be regarded as understanding the temper of the true spirit, and everything is easy to say along with the true spirit, and there will be no shortage of status, identity, and treasures. Anyone who violates a little bit or fails to do things to his satisfaction will definitely be tortured by the real spirit wearing small shoes and changing the law. After receiving Bai Yi's summons, he directly told the other strong men in the Yuan Elder Palace, and all flew towards Beishan City in Zhangzhou. On the way, by the way, the sheep was rescued from under a big mountain. When these people went to Beishan City together, in the depths of the heavens, with their faces tumbling, a giant dragon surged and arrived at Beishan City in an instant. The taste on this inheritor is very similar to that of that person. It is a practitioner of the primitive universe, but unfortunately, it is not the one predicted. The dragon had only one eye, opened it and turned it around, and then closed it again. His deity couldn't get out at all. He could only reveal a trace of strength, and left here to go to Beishan City above. This trace of power is different from the origin of the Temple of Discord, and even the origin of the original universe. It seems like it shouldn't belong to the power here. The power, like a dragon, rushed out from the ground and entered the extremely cold domain. Even the domain could not stop it, but entered the body of King White in an instant. Listen, this trace of power can only last for a quarter of an hour. Go to the depths of Zhangzhou as planned, and then go all the way north across the ancient city to the extremely cold place where someone will pick you up. King White was overjoyed when he heard these words. I thought I was going to explain here today, but I didn't expect the gods to give him a trace of true power. As soon as the voice fell, he felt the power, and it poured into his body in an instant. This power, the frozen 3,000 streamers reunited in an instant. This scene surprised Bai. How is this possible? This is an extremely cold domain. Even if the demon masters come over, they may not be able to escape so easily. Rewind. Bai Yi yelled to Guangmu Tianzuan after reacting. The recondensed King White, with a rising aura, the source of the heaven and earth that did not belong to this side, made the heavens begin to tremble. This breath has surpassed the emperor. A quarter of an hour. It was enough. Seeing the two retreat, King White didn't have time to entangle with them, so he chose to leave directly. The speed this time has surpassed the limit of space. It is better to say that it is flying than teleportation. Teleport in the Temple of Qishan. Teleportation is not difficult. Dao Jun can do it, but it is in the outside world, in the primitive universe. In the Temple of Qishan, I am afraid that no one except the true spirit can teleport, and it is because of the treasure that Zhu Yi shuttles at will. King White can teleport and easily break through the extreme cold field, which also shows that his strength has undergone a qualitative change. I am afraid that at that moment, he has reached the level of being comparable to the Lord of the Universe. Chapter 53:34. Wandao Sword Sovereign, Beishan City. The present Beishan City is more of a ruin than a city. Moreover, it was still frozen ruins, and some emperors, Taoists, and even the weak emperors who had not had time to retreat were all fixed here. For the powerful emperor, this is a ruin, but for those Taoists, it will be an ancient ruin in the future. The breath surging above is so precious, and the treasures buried underground are even more crazy. It's just that these are things to say. There will be no Beishan City in Baimu Zhangzhou in the future, and there will be no Guangmu Tianzuan. After this battle, Guangmu prepared to settle in the White Tiger Palace and thoroughly investigate the rebellion. The deposition of countless epics has caused many people to forget his name. It is time to come out again. For countless years, he has not taken that step. Maybe if you go out, you will be able to make a breakthrough. Although in the temple of Qishan there is no strong inheritance for him to practice, but there are still changes in his mood. Brother Guangmu, with your participation in the White Tiger Palace, it must be great again. Bai leaked joy. This time, let King Bai run away. Although he was a little unwilling, he was able to get Guangmu out of the mountains, which was also a big receipt, which was not in vain. It would be better if you didn't use that treasure. Guangmu leaked a trace of shame and said in a deep voice, Hallmaster Bai, I disappointed you this time and failed to take down the servant. I wanted to use his head as the first gift to the White Tiger Hall. He did think so at the beginning, but he did not expect that the current 4 secret realms are simply hidden dragons and crouching tigers. Some old immortal things have all run out. He is a super strong man in the first battle of his comeback. This is actually the case. Unbearable. It's a bit embarrassing. Bai Yi also said that the core layer of the current White Tiger Palace is already a rising emperor. He is a veteran strong. And he is a bit embarrassing in front of the younger generation without any strength when he comes back. Glancing at the black robe emperors, their expressions changed. Wait, go back first. This time the matter must not be spread. Bai Yi's expression changed slightly, and his voice was majestic. Several black robe emperors in the distance immediately took their orders and bowed back. The teleportation array was destroyed and could only go to other big states. Bai Yi looked at Guangmu, and when he was about to speak, he noticed a spot of light flashing in the distant sky, and then it surged in with the momentum of thunder. The person here is Wu Sua's deity. After regaining his strength, his combat power did not lose to the main hall masters. Now he is sitting in the palace of the elders, faintly with the grace of a superior, looking at Bai for a moment without the respect he had before. What about people? Guangmu used to be the messenger of the gods, but his relationship with Wuzhua was SOSO. At the beginning, his status was not inferior to these named disciples. Seeing the other party's attitude of inquiring about crimes, he immediately snorted. Wuzhua, pay attention to your words. This is to help Brother Bai Yi, but not for you. This is not Shuaigua to Bai Yi, but it is true. It can't be said that he and Bai Yi are rubbish. Let people run away. No matter what the excuse is, I can't say that. Unless the other party is the master of the universe. Wu's facial muscles were shaking, and he knew that he was too arrogant. He calmed down his tone and said, Brother Guangmu, it's also a great pleasure for you to go out of the mountain. If it's something else, I will definitely not pursue it. Just this time, Master True Spirit gave an order to save Jian Wushuang's life. Although the tone has become polite, the thread of words is still there. Bai Yi doesn't eat this set. What he hates most now is that others use the real spirit to crush him, and immediately shouted, it is the real spirit's order for you, not us. Although the person escaped from both of them, he couldn't throw the pot to them both. Is Wuzhuo okay? Let a god-casting envoy follow Jian Wushuang. What strength is he? Not to mention the absolute top. Just say that a sixth-order emperor can easily kill Jian Wushuang's life. It's not good to protect yourself, so you'll blame them. The lord of his heavenly hall has fallen. What is a Jian Wushuang? It is true that every ultimate way can reach the top. If this is the case, simply offer up those ultimate princes and treat them as ancestors. Hallmaster Bai, you just said that. Although Lord True Spirit assigned the Northern Territory to the Senate Palace, don't forget who you are fighting for. At this point, there was a lot of energy, and he said loudly, Your surname is Bai in the White Tiger Palace. No one can stop a superb emperor. Anger rose on both sides. The talk was inconsistent, and Bai Yi could also see that Wuzhou really had no guts to take the pot, and the two sides could only fight one more time. Boom! Wuzhou came from the deity. with ample confidence in his heart. Today, there was a big battle, and the lifelike spirit appeared. Otherwise, he has no face to look for the true spirit. Guangmu had listened to the previous words, but he couldn't help seeing Wu's Wu doing this. He had a burst of personality. Do you dare to do it? Wu's Wu looked savagely, swallowing with one hand, and immediately gave a wide-eyed breath. In fact, I didn't do anything. It was just a pure momentum deterrence, but at this time, it is no longer justified not to fight. This is not a fuss, but has been planned for a long time. Guangmu Tianzuan was persuaded by Bai Yi with great difficulty, couldn't watch it, and he also joined the battle group at the moment. Some emperors who hadn't escaped found out that there was another big battle behind them, and they were so frightened that their speed increased again, and they dared not look back. In the void, a figure faintly appeared, and the true spirit had arrived, looking at the ruins, going back in time. After understanding what happened, he left without even looking at them. Wu's combat power was much stronger than that of King Bai. If he was really dead, Bai Yi's Dharmakaya and Guangmu would not be opponents at all, regardless of the dynamics. In fact, both sides have left behind. This battle is for the real spirit to see. The true spirit is lazy to look. External pressure, internal turbulence. His true spirit is really not easy. He immediately hides his figure, leaving only a trace of breath. Let Bai Yi and the others understand that they have been here by themselves. Jian Wushuang is indeed very important, and since discovering the reason, he has treated him specially. Even the personal things of the gods were given to the other party. It ends like this now. Time and fate. There is nothing to say, and the timeline cannot be checked. It is also a curse to stay around, and it will fall. He has done enough. The existence in the starry sky should not hold him accountable. And Jian Wushuang may not have any connection with the other party. Maybe he thinks too much. But after losing an ultimate Taoist, he would never make this kind of mistake again. Although the ultimate harmony is difficult, it can't hold up a lot of people, more than 1,000 ultimate existence. As long as I Cheng Hadao succeeds, there are hundreds of ultimate emperors. As long as one of these people achieves the pinnacle and steps into the Lord of the Universe, he can solve the crisis of the original universe, destroy that god, and understand the cause and effect left behind. Chapter 53-35. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. He can take the Temple of Qishan, re-enter the long river of time and space, and far shield other time and space. Going to some stable time and space where there is a stronger existence, he does not believe that the predecessor's prediction can really dry up the time and space. If it didn't work, he launched the Temple of Qishan to investigate the cause and effect of the senior. Although that senior is very powerful, but Yu Xianyi had a deep cause and effect. He gave Xianyi a blood sacrifice, looking for the position of the senior. Wherever he went, the Temple of Qishan followed. See, who will die first then? This prophecy has been pressing in his heart. The reason why the Temple of Qishan has swept the world is to be great again and restore the line of Qishan. As a result, the senior told them that once the Temple of Qishan was reopened, a great existence in the future would surely be invited, and then the entire time and space would be withered, and that existence would reach the top, exhausting the entire time and space. When the time comes, it will be all over, and the whole line of the gods will be finished. No matter how strong the existence is, what's the use? Future. Zhenling shook his head. Too far. Seize the day. Back in the Sea of Origin, there is still one person in the Heart Sea Hall. It is the only ultimate emperor, Shang, in the primitive universe breakthrough. Zhenling said that the temperature was mild, and the gratification appeared in Shang Shi's eyes. It's too bad, so what can I do? At the beginning, Emperor Julian was also against the sky. What happened later? I didn't break through, I ended up. Not useful at all. Shang, the ultimate emperor, who is moving forward steadily and is extremely low-key, is the real future. Once you step into the Lord of the universe, that is the most powerful existence. Dao Jun is against the sky, and the Emperor is against the sky. Do you really think that you can go against the sky? At best, kill the weak Emperor. Seeing the return of the true spirit, Shang hurriedly got up with a smile on his face and answered calmly, just nodded. There is no such thing as the joy of ordinary people after a breakthrough. Your background is very deep. It won't take long for you to reach the peak. It is only a matter of time before you can cultivate the origin of space to perfection. What you need to do now is the secret method of the universe. This is the only way out. The line of Shang is different from that of the gods, but the character and cultivation is most similar to that of the gods. Among those Taoists, he still couldn't see much, but as long as there were no accidents in the future, Shang would surely shine forever. The two were seated again. Business breakthrough. Achievement of Sixth Order Emperor. There is a series of cultivation Dong Tian waiting for him behind. The ultimate Emperor's training is not comparable to Dao Jun. In the end, the true spirit sent Shang away and went to the tomb of one of the 4 secret realms. The 5 inheritances left by Qixin have now opened the first one. There are 2 more. Hui Qing, who is most valued by the true spirit, can occupy one without accident, and Jian Wushuang can also occupy the next without falling. In the primitive world, there are still a few candidates, and there is hope to occupy one of them. He sees that the level of people is very high. Whether it is the Shang of the ultimate emperor or the Hui Qing of the Taoist, there is an obvious similarity. That is stability. The background is profound, and once you encounter a great opportunity, it will be transformed. Jian Wushuang is the opposite. The background is uneven. Personality is also much worse, unstable, almost fell a few times, and this time was looted by those old guys. At the Taoist level, there may be some luck, but after arriving at the Emperor, luck is only a means. The stronger the Emperor, the deeper the luck. The Emperor was the beginning of the strong, and the crisis at that time was much more desperate than the Taoist. Zhenling sighed. He is a true spirit. There is no law body to speak of. He must always guard the true core origin of the Temple of Qi. These little guys, there can be no more accidents. The true spirit's figure flashed, looking at the 4 superimposed secret realms in the void in the Qixin temple. From the robe, raised his arm, pointed it out, and a dazzling light at the fingertips rushed into the 4 secret realms. The dragon surging in the gap between the 4 great secret realms uttered a terrifying roar. This time, the lesson was enough to let the other party be honest for a while. But this is not enough. His minions are still hidden in the 4 great secret realm. He directly sent a message to the Palace of the Elders and went to the primordial realm to find the main guardians of Zhu Yijian to suppress the heaven. Zhu Yi of primordial realm had nothing to do with this. Although he was blackmailed from a mountain of magic sounds, it was reasonable for the stability of the 4 secret realms to produce some treasures. On Yuanyang Lake, in the center of the heavens, 4 streams of light descended from the sky, falling into the lake and gradually forming 1,000 waves of water. In addition to these 4 streams of light, a wall of gas rose up on the border of Yuanyang Lake at this time. In the past, the formation was established by the strong in the Elder's Palace, but now this Qi wall was given to them by Zhu Yi. The unbreakable formation of the most powerful completely laid a solid foundation for the Senate Palace. At this time, the many strong men who returned to the Yuan Palace were taken aback by this scene. I thought I was going to ask them about their sins, but I didn't expect to get so many benefits instead. The others were nothing and didn't know the importance of Jian Wushuang. Wu's heart was tight. The less true spirit didn't come out to humiliate him, the more uneasy he was, and he always felt that true spirit was waiting for an opportunity to settle accounts with him. Huh. Blame those two wastes. Wuzwa cursed secretly from the bottom of his heart after realizing that the true spirit had come. They stopped their hands, each mocked each other, and eventually even sat in the same teleportation formation. Honestly returned to their respective chassis. The Northern Territory was also completely in their hands. In addition to recalling the powerhouses from various temples, Bai Yi also demolished the teleportation array, and they destroyed the Yuan Palace if they could not buy enough treasures. This made the popularity of the Senate Palace half dead. In the end, only a contract can be signed, and the benefits of the teleportation array will be distributed to the White Tiger Palace 30%. At this time, the interior of the Senate Palace was very united, not only from the pressure from the White Tiger Palace, but also from the opportunity of this aftermath. I have the highest seniority here, and I will host today's conference. A veteran green cow, dressed in a Tai Chi picture, looked majestic. Thousands of strong people in the hall nodded one after another. Even Wuzwa doesn't make any sense. He has a special status and strong strength, but he hasn't arrogantly forgotten the beginning. Outside the Temple of Chishan, I can't get in or go away like a bereaved dog. Now, it is hard to find a place to stay. It is the time to do something, and the former arrogance will naturally be erased. Okay, in that case, let's start. This meeting is to carve up the northern border. Of course, being a strong person is to save face, which cannot be said so obvious. The prestigious election. Dear elders above the high seat, read out the door rules once set by the gods. Then there is the selection column. In addition to the name, the Yuan Lao Palace must have its own position. After this point was put forward, it was immediately opposed by the veterans of the name A, but couldn't hold back the public opinion and finally made a slight concession, and the final position was decided after a few parties talked. The veterans of the name A have all obtained high-level rights and interests. Chapter 5336. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. The veterans of other names either hold important positions in the palace or are assigned to some wealthy states in the north. The entire northern border is so big, and there are so many treasures. They are only a few thousand people. Even the weakest and the youngest, they can be assigned to Liuzhou's affluent areas and become powerful. The status of the Senate Palace is not lost to the temple. After they took office, their status in the local area was very high. Although most of them were fifth-order emperors, they were powerful, almost crushed the same level, with noble status basically left sideways in the north. The Palace of the Elders, the head of the Law Enforcement Hall, is the responsibility of His Royal Highness Wuzwa. Congratulations! For a time, Wuzwa was in the limelight and raised his glass high. The Senate Palace is divided into 6 halls, and the Law Enforcement Hall has the highest status. It can patrol any place in the entire northern border, and it is also the best position. Wuzwa pressed his hand, and first bowed slightly to pay respect to the senior veterans above, and then looked at the senior veterans below, and said with a smile, "Thanks to the love of all the seniors, I, Wuzwa, will serve as the head of the Law Enforcement Hall later. I will do my best for the gang." After some one-sidedness, he then boasted, "Northern Realm, that is just a starting point. In the future, our world will not only be a Northern Realm, but the entire Heaven Realm, and even the 4 secret realms." Okay. The green cow above said, very happy. The veterans in the hall were also full of joy. He originally thought that Wuzwa hadn't forgotten his former identity. Now it seems that he is much more honest and will not rely on his strength to overwhelm people. Such people will not be simple in the future, and they have to be attracted well. After the scene subsided, Qingyo Lao Dao spoke again. Today, the entire Yuan Lao Palace still has the last place. He pointed to the throne behind him. This is the highest place of the Senate Palace, and the throne behind it is naturally the highest place, the pinnacle of power, the peak of power in the north, the peak of power in the Palace of the Elders. When talking about this, everyone's faces became quiet. They were not qualified to sit in this position, but a few of the type veterans above were qualified. Among the more than a dozen Tier 6 veterans, in addition to Qingniu, there are two more qualified. Emperor Lu Hua, the Sword of Changfeng. These two strengths are close to the top, and they are the fourth-ranked figures in the A font. Being old-fashioned with Qingniu is just a little bit worse. Qingniu Lao Dao is grade a third, and the two of them are grade a fourth. As for the latter, the qualifications and strength are not enough. For example, the 3 eyes of the sheep of God casting God is Jiao, and he was assigned to the Supreme Hall to become a deputy hall master, but the hall master did not move to refine it. This makes Yang Sanmu very upset, but the opponent is a 6th order emperor, and his seniority ranks above him, plus the defeat of the guard Jian Wushuang this time. He can't help it. It was because Yuzhuo was able to get a deputy hall master because of his resistance. Wu Zhuo also had a great responsibility for failing to protect Jian Wushuang. It was he halfway through the Old Horned Man to find Broly, but he didn't find him, and he lost Jian Wushuang. The old man with horns sat in the corner of the uppermost corner, with a dead heart. At the beginning, he also agreed with Jian Wushuang to help him refine the origin of the beast and magic weapon. Little guy, I hope you survive. The old man with horns raised his head and took a sip of boring wine, feeling melancholy. He was not qualified or interested in the competition at the top. Emperor Lu Hua, the Sword of Changfeng, and the Green Cow. The 3 most qualified candidates stand side by side. Qingniu Lao Dao stood in the middle. His face was calm on the surface, but he was very confident in his heart. Everyone listen to me. Emperor Lu Hua took the lead to speak, breaking the silence. He is elegant and has a very friendly tone. Turned his head to look at the position behind him, then looked at everyone, and said with a faint smile, "This position is good." When he was speaking, his eyes were full of yearning, but he knew that it would be too costly to want to sit in this position. Turning around again, Emperor Lu Hua looked at everyone and said a word that shocked everyone's jaw. "Lu is very talented, and I am not qualified to be alone in this position." This surprised everyone. Wu Zhuo also leaked his doubts. He and Emperor Lu Hua were brothers of life and death in ancient times and had a fateful friendship. If Lu Hua were to fight for that position, he would definitely assist him, and he had already begun to win over everyone secretly ready to support Emperor Lu Hua. Suddenly no more disputes now. Many people are surprised. The only thing that is not surprising is that Qingniu is old-fashioned, and all of this is planned by him behind his back. Now there are 2 people left. The Sword Changfeng has a fiery temper, and he is not as refined as Emperor Lu Hua. Qingniu also knew the other party's temper, and made a gesture of asking. Changfeng's sword god stepped forward. His aura leaked, his face was grim, and his voice was low, and said, "I won't list them all. Qingniu, let's start. Election, it is natural to vote. Now that Lu Hua withdraws, the 2 of them will be left and vote directly." Lu Hua stepped back and began to send a message to Wu Zhuo. "Changfeng." Wu Zhuo, who was sitting in the middle, quickly understood this. Qingniu had confidence in his heart, but he didn't want to make things too embarrassing. When voting, Yu read the book www.ukanshu.com, and he sent a message to the 2 next to him and made some promises, but only Lu Hua agreed. Changfeng's sword god does not eat this set. Brother Qingniu, the 3 positions are not necessarily bad, but advantageous. Emperor Lu Hua whispered quietly, but on the other side, he was tinkering with the sword Changfeng, letting him fight to the end. The two joined forces to fight the green cow, one with a red face and the other with a white face. What they want is not one position, but two positions. Who stipulated that there is only one palace master in the Yuan Lao Palace and 4 palace masters in the 4 halls. Nowadays, the high position of the capable is popular. Since they are all capable, they should sit together. Qing Niu Lao Dao always smiled, but he cursed secretly in his heart. Lu Hua's withdrawal was to join Chang Feng to pit him, but he couldn't help it. Chang Feng's fierce temper was impossible to talk about. Voting ends soon. After the announcement, the two had the same number of votes. Just so few people, the number of votes is easy to manipulate. Chang Feng's sword god cannot win. If Lu Hua is defeated, Qingyu cannot win. Both Chang Feng and Lu Hua will lose. Only equality is a big win. It seems that the two are fighting, but the chess player behind it is Emperor Lu Hua. Lost. Qing Niu's complexion did not change, but he sighed in his heart. This time I lost myself and face. At this moment, Lu Hua slowly stepped forward and said loudly, I will be a notary public. Since it's flat, it's better for the two to take this position together. As soon as this remark came out, it was deposited for a while, and then supported together. If they are all seated, then no one loses, they are all winners, and there is no need to worry about which side to support. The defeat will be made difficult for later. Emperor Lu Hua turned his head and smiled at Qing Niu Lao Dao, then glanced at Chang Feng, sword god. Indicate that it's time to make a statement. The old man Qing Niu said secretly, Lu Hua, you are not afraid that I will kick you aside if I sit in this position. Chapter 53:37. 1. Dao Sword Sovereign. What he said is reasonable. When the time comes, the two will each hold half and kick him aside. It is really possible. However, Lu Hua had already planned in his heart. He had said to Chang Feng tactfully, once he didn't support him, Chang Feng would not be able to fight the Blue Bull. As for Qingyu Lao Dao, although he is one half of it, what he wants is the complete Senate palace. From now on, true spirit will hold them to a high position. The temptation of the Senate palace is too great. When Lu Hua and Chang Feng join forces, he has only one way to win. That is to win Lu Hua. As for Chang Feng, he couldn't win it, and he couldn't win it. Brother Qingyu, everything is for the Senate palace. I am fine. Hearing this sentence, Qingyu compromised. Next, he and Chang Feng announced at the same time that the Senator Palace had set up 3 palace masters, regardless of front and back. Qingyu, Chang Feng, and Lu Hua are in charge of the Palace of the Elders. The cheers in the palace formed a sharp contrast with the emperors outside. The emperors of the primitive universe have been still on an island ever since they arrived at the Senate Palace. Now that the interior is stable, Wu personally arranges these people. Among the more than 10,000 emperors, except for a few third-order and fourth-order emperors who were sent to the Tomb of the Gods, the others were all scattered and assigned to the strong men of the Yuan Lao Palace and went to the northern border to sit in various big states. The emperor who was selected went to the Tomb Mountain in the secret realm of the Tomb of the Gods. These people are worth training. Among them are Zhenliang and Tongtian Buddha, as well as some third-order emperors of immeasurable Buddha. The leaders of the major peak strengths naturally went together. Those who go with these people are the ultimate Taoists. When these people went to the Tomb Mountain, the trial of the primitive world also ushered in the final link. Primitive world, the original star of Jiajiu, Beiqing. Today, only Huiqing is left on the wall. Now, the only complete city wall is Huiqing and Wanqing. Wanqing broke through again, completely stabilized the origin of Wandao, and its strength jumped again. But Huiqing has undergone a transformation. Reincarnation is utterly absent. every time the source rises one level, there is a reincarnation. Today's Hui Qing is no longer as simple as the emperor. Jian Wushuang's disappearance did not arouse too many people's attention, but Hui Qing, who was most familiar with Jian Wushuang in the entire primordial realm, naturally put it in his heart. It was learned from Qiu Huang that Jian Wushuang was likely to fall, and for a while he had mixed feelings in his heart. Brother Wushuang, seeing the black mist outside the city wall approaching, Hui Qing's breath remained motionless, stepped out one step and muttered to the sky, "You can't finish the road, it'll go for you." Boom. As soon as the voice fell, the magic circle above his head suddenly exploded. The silver long stick is invincible across the battlefield. The black mist finally condensed into a towering demon with 9 stars on the brows. This is the devouring demon comparable to the second-order emperor. But Hui Qing's burst of strength was no weaker than the opponent. His long stick was like a rainbow, and his aura was indelible. Another city wall burst out with dazzling light. After all, Wang Xing's strength was still a little bit weaker, although there were back and forth with the Demon King, but the breath was weak. However, this original star has exceeded the budget of the Vermilion Bird Palace. Many trialers on primordial stars have already begun to evacuate because no one has reached the last wave. The first 9 waves are considered screenings. The next 10 times are real trials, allowing the trialists to continuously break through. Each wave can make the trial have a significant improvement, and Daojun has half the battle power of the Emperor after passing the first 3 waves. The 6th wave will be comparable to the Emperor, and the 7th wave will have the power to kill the Emperor. The 8th wave is 1 battle 3. Fight with 3 monarch-level devourers. The last wave is the second-order Emperor who is against the sky. Let a Dian immortal go to kill the second-order Emperor. Moreover, this second-tier Emperor is not ordinary, much stronger than the native emperors of the 4 great secret realms, and is already regarded as the top emperor in the second tier. In the primordial realm, half of the 180 primitive stars are migrating. For each primordial star, only 100 people were really picked, and all of them were Taoists. The other half are in trials, and these primordial stars that are still in trials are even stronger. One of them, Dao monarch Juyan, who still has some friendship with Jian Wushuang, is also trying out at this time. He and Wanqing have similar opportunities, and they are all exchanged for imitation eternal treasures. Strength has been promoted. Even the ultimate Taoist was defeated. He still insisted. The Vermilion Bird Hall had rarely appeared outside the original star, and Zhu Yi personally guarded it. Many primordial stars have been moved to the treasure house. Don't look at the dead silence. Above, the inside is a real treasure. A primordial star is more precious than the eternal treasure. Looking at the things above, you can see that on the Jiu primitive star, that feather is the trophy of that primitive star. The owner of that feather is an incredible special being. The divine body has reached its true limit, and its body has expanded to the size of a world. In the end, it fell under the original stars. Primitive stars, in fact, have 3,600 stars, which are the core of a large array. Each one is more precious than the eternal treasure. The array of 3,600 primitive stars is much stronger and unimaginable. Anyway, even that powerful special life has fallen here. Hall Master, His Highness Wu's, was sent a message over there, saying that he was taking the Emperor to the Tomb Mountain. Should we wait for us and go together? Zhu Qi cautiously spread the word beside. When Shan Jun was in prison, she also went to beg for mercy, but this time it was an order from the real spirit. Zhu Yi had no choice but to slow down first, and then mention it later. Now that Shan Jun has just entered, it would be difficult for her to intercede because of Zhu Qi with the character of the true spirit. In fact, Jun himself would just bow his head, but Wu's was not the same. Bow his head. Everything is easy to say. Now the four secret realms are mixed. Now that she is asked to intercede, the true spirit must kill her. Last time, I took away a magic mountain and sent Jun to the second prison. I am afraid that all of this was calculated by the real spirit, waiting for her to intercede, and then slaughter her once. This is why she gave so many benefits to the palace of the elders in vain, all for the real spirit to see. Zhu Yi suddenly felt a headache, waved his hand, and said, "Tell Wu's we don't have to wait. Let the emperor go in first." "Yes." After Zhu Qi answered respectfully, she disappeared. There are already tens of thousands of people sitting in the Vermilion Bird Palace today, all of whom are at the level of Taoist monarch. The other half did not come out. There were almost 20,000 in total. Among them, there are more than 200 ultimate beings, and almost only 1 out of 100 is a practitioner of the ultimate path. This is almost the same as the previous budget. You can't just recruit the ultimate existence. That would be too wasteful. After these people are sent away, Xuanwu Temple will send hundreds of millions of practitioners to come. The number of Yanxian can be hundreds of millions of times more than Dianxian. After screening in the Xuanwu Hall and helping them to break through, they will be sent to the Vermilion Bird Hall. After screening in the Vermilion Bird Hall, they will be sent to the 4 secret realms of the White Tiger Hall. Chapter 53:38. After the trial of, the Emperor will be sent to the Azure Dragon Palace after screening. It's just that now in the Azure Dragon Palace, if you don't fight outside, it's useless to send it over, so you have got 4 secret realms. This is a closed loop, is also the rule set by the of the gods. In this way, the strong can be continuously selected, and the glory of the gods can be recondensed. Zhu Sen, you go to the Xuanwu Hall to pick up people, and Zhu Si, you go to the treasure house to choose a flying treasure and take them to the tomb of the gods. Be sure to hand it over to the people in the White Tiger Hall safely. She also heard about Jian Wushuang. This is not a small loss, but also a warning. The 4 secret realms are no longer the 4 secret realms they used to be. Now the inside is rotten, and there is still a force in private who wants to overthrow the Temple of Qishan. Inheritors are the future powerhouses of Qishan Temple, so there must be no accidents. The last time it was Jian Wushuang alone, it was because Jian Wushuang, an inheritor, went to the 4 secret realms. This time, there are 20,000 people. For those people, even a billion-dollar prince is no different from a single one, and can die at hand. To send these inheritors, it is natural to use some powerful treasures. The ultimate eternal treasure of the palace category is a must, like the Tower of Eternity. The 4th Order Emperor can resist the attack of the 5th Order Emperor when entering. Supreme Eternal Treasure. It is able to put an end to the attack of the peak powerhouse. As for why she went to deliver it in person, it was because she had more important things. She wants to develop a screening venue for the next group of people. This time it was a primordial star, so next time it might be an ancient continent or a dead, starry sky. Is possible. In the hall at this time, inheritors are constantly coming, and those who can come here are all inheritors. The ones that have not come either have fallen or have been assembled to other places, ready to send them all out, the core of the primitive world. On a floating continent, there are millions of testers here. Most of them have retired after the 9th wave. Although they have a lot of strength, they are still the ultimate eternal fairy, but they are not qualified to become inheritors. Your trial is over. Later, you will all be teleported out of the Temple of Forbidding. Those who come, there will go back there. The cold voice was like pouring them a basin of cold water. Am not reconciled. I already have a half-step master. Give me another chance. Someone said unwillingly. Some other strong players couldn't help but speak. But that voice didn't respond to them at all. I knew it. I should have been fighting. I'm almost a little bit. The 11th wave is too difficult. Some are upset, and some are plain. Some Dian Immortals were not only top-level combat power when they came in, but now they have become the ultimate powerhouse, and they have also obtained many treasures, and even gathered all the innate treasures, and exchanged their unique skills. After going out, they may not be better than others. Weak. The most important thing is the Temple of Qishan, which gave them a sense of harmony, which is the same as the emperors of Desiyu got. Their strength is not weak anymore, especially those who are strong at the second-rank origin. As long as they get together successfully after going out, the 3rd tier is not difficult, and the 4th tier is also promising. In sharp contrast with this place are the inheritors in the Suzaku Hall, now gathered together. Some people who knew each other began to talk about their own situation. Many people also met and chatted with each other. After all, they are no longer in Primordial Star. They don't have any fighting anymore. They have become very peaceful. Some people have changed from start to finish, their strength, breath, and appearance. Juyin Daojun came to the main hall somewhat to the end. He failed in the 19th wave, and with so much luck, he finally lost. After came here, he glanced around, but none of the people in the world of Buddha could see it. Where are Hui Qing and Wu Shuang brother? The strength of these two people is not weak. He has seen the ranking, and Hui Qing's ranking is higher than him. The list is still hanging above the Suzaku Palace. Ranked number 1 is a powerful being called Light, who has mastered the ultimate way and ranked first. Is the first existence to pass the 19th wave. I heard it took only a quarter of an hour. The number 1 is also worthy of the name, and the ultimate way he has mastered is very terrifying. It is the Light Way, is a powerful source comparable to the power of destruction. Wow. Soon the rankings began to change. It's been a long time now, and it's almost a crucial moment for the victory or defeat. Yep. Juyin Daojun narrowed his eyes and saw Hui Qing's ranking in a straight line on the upper body and finally fixed in the 19th place. And then the 20th is the 10,000-star emperor. The two cleared the level almost at the same time. After receiving the reward, they entered Qiu Huang City and teleported to the Vermilion Bird Palace together. Ji Chaoyang has been chatting all the way, but Hui Qing has no joy. Their original star is also special. The 3 ultimate ways are all 9 ranked Dian Immortals. When he and Jian Wushuang first entered the primitive star, they were not even the top Dian Immortals, and their strength was very weak. Now, 30 years have passed in an instant. The strength has reached the level of the emperor, and even the second-order emperor can be killed. It's a pity that Jian Wushuang is gone. If Ji Chaoyang breaks through, he can also kill the second-order emperor, but it is a pity that it is too difficult to break through, and it can't be done by tempering. Hui Qing still has no breakthrough. Wanqing has the most breakthroughs, and breakthroughs have been made in almost every wave. Originally, he couldn't hold the 18th wave, but finally broke through and almost lost in the last wave. But when it was critical, his aura became stronger and stronger. He actually reached the point of continuous flow and cut it off in one bite. The Demon King. After entering the Vermilion Bird Palace, Hui Qing saw Daojun Juyin, and the two stepped forward to talk. Soon all the original stars are over. More than 20,000 Taoists gathered here. Hui Qing, you have changed so much. When you were in Qishui Hall, you were still rank 6 Dian Immortal. Brother Wushuang was only rank 3, but in a blink of an eye, you all would kill the second-order emperor. So did Zhou Yen. Joy from the heart. After all, he was there, and Hui Qing was the one who was really himself. There are countless worlds in the entire universe, and many worlds do not even have a single inheritor. There are actually two in the world of Tongtian Buddhism, and it is still a medium-sized world. How difficult it is. Hui Qing shook her head and sighed. Unfortunately, Brother Wushuang is gone. Yes, if Brother Wushuang is still there, even if the four of us go to the Tomb Mountain, we will be a generation hegemon. Although Ji Chaoyang was a little sad, there was still optimism in the voice. Tear Heaven Daojun stood alone in the corner, listening to Hui Qing's conversation with light in his eyes. Jian Wushuang fell. For him, that was a great thing. He couldn't wait to take out the mustard seeds and distribute it to everyone. Without the pressure of Jian Wushuang, he broke through all the way and reached a level comparable to that of the emperor. The future is infinite. It's just a pity that the beast is a magic weapon. I don't know if I can get it back. But all of this is a story. https:// mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5339, The Vermilion Bird Palace revolved, and these inheritors soon went to another palace. Their journey has just begun. Primordial stars are just the starting point. Their path is still very long, but they are close to the place where the dream begins. Tens of thousands of years passed in a blink of an eye for secret realms, Earth boundary, savage place, Great Xia ancient country. A sacrifice is being held in a wild mountain range. The scarlet arrogance rose, making everything in the valley very strange. On the altar, several masked monks in red are maintaining order. Because in addition to them, there are thousands of Daojun and countless mundane practitioners also gathered here, and they are the objects of blood sacrifice. Young sect master, everything is ready. The red robe envoy said respectfully. Hidden in the mountain, a masked man in black armor with no breath at all slowly walked out of the void. Only a look made these red-robed deacons tremble. Although they have only started to follow the young sect master in the last 1,000 years, they are extremely afraid of this young sect master. Because of this young sect master, he has sacrificed countless Tao monarchs in blood within 1,000 years, and he has never let go of even the common customs, and his combat power is unfathomable. Once killed a second-order emperor instantly, so that the other party had no chance to fight back. Let's start. The black armor-masked young master's voice is low but cruel, the imprisoned monk below staring at the red-robed deacon above with anger. Especially when he saw the black armored young master, he hated his bones. You are imprisoning this seat. I am Daxia's 9 princes. You are looking for death. A burly, resolute young man roared. His strength is also the strongest of these people. He has reached the level of a half-step emperor. But here, any red-robed deacon is an existence comparable to the emperor, and they can't resist at all. After the young sect master standing at the top heard these words, his eyes moved, as if thinking of something funny again. His arms slightly lifted, and his finger moved. The red-robed deacon behind him, instantly aware, took a palm shot, turned into a black mist, and instantly enveloped the young man who claimed to be the 9th prince of Great Xia. The black mist envelopes the 9th prince, but in an instant he arrived in front of the young sect master. Daxia's 9 princes. It's a bit interesting. I heard that Daxia is planning to aggressively attack the Maluo kingdom, but there is such a thing. The voice of young master He Jia was very playful, and he did not take the person in front of him seriously, like it's like looking at a prey. At first, the 9th prince was still very hard-spirited. After all, he was Daxia's 9th prince. He was in a high position since he was a child, and he was used to overpowering others. But when he arrived in front of the black-armored young master, he didn't know what happened. He couldn't get up anymore. His eyes still leaked fear, and his heart shrank into a ball. Originally didn't want to answer, but when he saw those gloomy eyes, he hesitated and said, Yes, there is such a thing. Exterminate the demon cult. The name of this battle is very in line with God's will. The young black armored sect master stretched out his claws and directly pinched the head of the 9 princes of Dacia, and countless pictures came into his mind in an instant. After almost 3 breaths, the black armored young sect master slowly let go. It's just that the one in his hand has turned into a corpse. The origin, the divine body, and even the memory and his cultivation skills were all wiped out, leaving a withered body. From now on, I will be him, the 9 princes of Daxiao ancient kingdom. Xia Meng Guan Yu. As soon as the voice fell, the Hongpao deacon officially opened the blood sacrifice array. Countless people were teleported to the altar. Everyone's faces are full of death. The realm is too chaotic. Every day, there are demon heads performing blood sacrifices. There are constant battles between the ancient countries. The environment of the monks is very bad. Even some sects that have been passed down for hundreds of millions of years may be destroyed overnight. Even the temple where the gods are stationed will be attacked. What's more, they are all beings. Am I going to die? A teenager muttered to himself. His face is not dead, but some are worried. Hongpao deacon shouted, "Quickly pour in the blood of the gods and the crystals. Don't stop for a moment." When these people are busy, the young sect master hugs his arms around him, hovering in the air a battle high above the ground. Watching all this quietly, the blood poured in, the world faded. Countless people swarmed in it. The young man wiped the blood from his face. He tried his best to endure the weakness of his body. He firmly grasped a puppet with a name engraved on it. It seems that the name is a girl. That is his sister. The two depend on each other for fate. He is just a mundane during the refining period. If you want to survive in the realm, you must have a backing. In order to support his sister, he worked as a coolie in a mundane sect. He originally thought to be a backer, but in the end, the sect was burdened. Everyone went up to the sect master and down to the disciple coolies. "I'm fine when I die, but my sister is still young." The boy's eyes were red, and tears flowed out in the next moment. He is not afraid of death. He is afraid that he is dead. No one will protect his sister. The sect was destroyed, and his sister was still waiting for him to go home in the back mountain, but he can't go back now, and can't go back again. With the blood boiling, the boy gradually softened to the altar. Although his strength is weak, his willpower is terribly strong, and he can actually fall with those Mahayana monks. When fell in the blood and tears, he thought of scenes from when he was a child. In a small courtyard, his father is a hunter. He went hunting in the mountains to feed his family, and he was nourished, and he was still an only child. When I was a child, my father brought my sister back on the mountain. "Xiao Fan, you have a sister. Xiao Fan, you have to remember that you are a man. You have to protect your sister, and mother, come, pick up the knife, and continue practicing." Then the beasts attacked the village. The parents rushed into the beast tide to protect him and his sister. Xiao Fan, 2 brothers and sisters left their homes, begging all the way for a living. Fortunately, he has practiced martial arts since he was a child. Whether he is a coolie or a domestic slave, he has a bite to eat. But now without him, what should the little girl do? "Brother, go home." When the boy closed his eyes, in the last scene, his sister was standing at the gate of the fenced courtyard, holding a bowl of clear water, waiting for him to return home. Someone keeps falling down in the altar. Now, even the earth celestial beings have fallen, and then the heavenly celestial beings, and the powerful Taoist among the celestial beings. The strength of the land boundary is still divided according to the name of the most ancient era. Dian Immortal is a heavenly immortal in the earth boundary, Yenxian is an earth immortal, and Mahayana is an ancestral realm. The Lord of Mortals is also the Mahayana of mortals. Young Master Heijia, his eyes changed, and a touch of surprise came out, turning his head to look north. This scene scared Deacon. Hong Pao jumped. This young sect master is a fearless lord. Even he was taken aback. Could it be that a powerful emperor is here? https:// mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5340. Wan Dao Sword Sovereign. The young Master Blackjaw coldly said, "You go first." The sacrifice has already begun, and these red-robed deacons are useless, and staying here will reveal their identity. They are all strong men of some sex, and they were dispatched here for the blood sacrifice this time, and they usually didn't meet each other. Except for him, no one knows the true identity of these people. Yes, the several red deacons respectfully took orders. A tiny small formation rose up. These deacons entered it and were instantly moved hundreds of millions of miles away, and their breath disappeared instantly. In today's valley, there is only this young sect master. Inside the altar, there was now a mess, with only a few bones left. From the altar, a faint source emerged, which cannot be said to be the source, but a force that has never been seen before, and it contains all things in the world. It's too little. The power is also average, only comparable to ordinary emperor origin. After reaching out and grasping this source, the black armor young sect master leaked a trace of strange color in his eyes. Can't help but growl. "Old guy, you are not the last time. Why is it not enough?" A surprising scene appeared, and a ghost flew out of the black-armored young sect master's body, floating in the air. "I can't blame me. This time the sacrifices are too weak. If it is a fourth-order emperor, one will do," the ghost said aggrievedly. The young sect master Heijia had a look of disgust, and he pulled the weak source in his hand and threw it to the ghost. "You really dare to say that the fourth-order emperor is here, and we all have to die?" The ghost leaked a smile and quickly flattered. "How come, with your current strength, can't you escape if you can't beat it?" It's simple." Young black-armored sect master lazily paid attention, and then said, "Come in quickly. Someone is coming here. The strength is not weak." "Oh." Hearing these words, the ghost leaked a meaningful expression. "If the strength is not weak, it means that you can fight or even kill." After seeing the other party's thoughts, young Master Heijia sighed. "It's not someone else who is here, it's an acquaintance. Let's go." After hearing these words, the ghost didn't dare to say anything more, and re-entered the body of young black-armored sect master. A black-clothed monk head, extremely fast, arrived in this valley in an instant after the black-armored young master left. Looking at the blood-colored altar on the ground, the black-robed monk's face leaked anger. With her generous sleeves swaying, a 12 or 13-year-old girl, clutching his thigh, did not dare to look at the blood-colored altar. When looking down at the girl, the head of the monk leaked a smile. He had been in this situation once, and the man gave him a smile to make him feel at ease. "Brother." The little girl in ragged clothes had clear eyes, and when she looked at the blood-colored altar, her heart leaked uneasy. The surrounding breath tears through the world, and the ordinary cannot stay here forever. The head of the monk shook his head and waved his hand to take away the breath of the world, leaving only a bald altar with solidified blood on top. The two landed slowly, and as soon as they landed, the little girl rushed to the ring. She could feel that his brother seemed to have been here. Thump! I don't know what I tripped over. The little girl stood up hard with both hands on her back, looking at the bulge behind her. The head of the monk stood on the side and did not stop him. With his identity and strength, he could see the past and future of the little girl at a glance. Although it was once poor, it was a ray of light. The future is turbid, and even if he will take in this little girl, Her future is hard to predict. He closed his eyes slightly, and for a moment countless pairs of eyes stared here. The sacrifice here has destroyed so many people it can cause such a large cause and effect, but he can't see who is here to sacrifice. When she opened her eyes again and looked at the little girl, there was pity in her eyes. The little girl was just a microcosm of the countless pairs of eyes, and at the same time, there were still many people in the same situation as the little girl, not afraid of cause and effect, obviously a monk of the magic way. At some point, there was a puppet in the little girl's hand with slanted writing on it. It was left by his brother before he died. "Sister, stay alive." This is what he left behind with all his might before he died, but for some reason it was not destroyed. If the young sect master knew, he would be surprised. Maybe he is surprised now. On the cliff of the valley, a person in a void in the void, staring coldly at the puppet in the little girl's hand. "Old man, are you really that serious? You, and I will kill you." It seems that this is the evil result of the sacrifice. I have already felt a sense of anxiety in my heart. It seems that this is the thing. Even the sacrifice can't be destroyed. Hidden here is the young black armored sect master. Forget it. As long as you reshape a source for you, you can get rid of it completely. I hate this kind of day. The voice of the old man in the body sounded again, and he said in a low voice, "No matter what, kill this person first. He is just a Taoist. There is nothing to be afraid of. You are teaching me to do things." The young master He Jia's voice was cold and stern. The person in his body was taken aback. How could the usually cold-blooded young sect master hesitate? No, I just suggest to get rid of that puppet. There is a cause and effect of you, and me above it. Don't keep it. Sect master He Jia didn't pay attention, but kept his eyes on the monk head, and finally shook his head. On the altar, the little girl knelt on the ground and sobbed. The monk's first step came, knelt down and patted the shoulder, and said, "Don't live up to your brother's long-cherished wish." And the little girl raised her head, looked at the head of the monk, and then said, "Why did my brother die?" The head of the monk was stunned for a moment, a little stunned for a moment, because he found that the little girl's future changed again, and it was still muddy, but now it has turned into darkness. It seems that there will be another extraordinary figure in this world. Of course, this refers to the ancient country of Great Xia. Let's go, I'll take you to see. The head of the monk took the little girl's hand and rose into the air. The two of them left in an instant. After disappearing completely, the young black armored sect master, who was hidden in the void, slowly appeared. Looking at the place where the other party disappeared, there was a trace of longing in his eyes. "Huiqing, long time no see." His voice was very low, and he didn't have the coldness of the past. Wow. The black armor concealed into the body, put on a black robe, and slowly took off the mask. This black armored young sect master is the Jian Wushuang, who has disappeared for thousands of years. The hair became white at this moment. "You are crazy. Don't be afraid that someone will see it." The voice in the body sounded again. Jian Wushuang's eyes changed sharply in an instant, and he shouted angrily, "Shut up for me." That person was not someone else. It was the White King who took him away. Chapter 5341. One Dao Sword Sovereign. After being looted at that time, I thought that the other party would kill him directly, but I didn't expect this old guy to actually want to take him away. Just kidding. His Dao is a unique extreme Dao. Even if the opponent is an absolute powerhouse, he can't win the home. Eventually, he merged into one by accident. I had no choice but to swear to live in the same body for the time being. But this is not a long-term solution. The White King wanted to reconsolidate a source that did not belong to the Temple of Qishan, and wanted to cultivate to the Sixth Order Emperor again. The sacrifice of Jian Wushuang Mandi realm is to refine the origin for the opponent. It was still a little bit close now. As long as he helped King by refining a new source, the opponent would be able to escape from his body. If they violate the oath, both of them will collapse the road. He was used to this kind of life originally, but now that he sees Huiqing, he also wants to go to the Tomb Mountain with those inheritors. This is his holy place for spiritual practice, with inexhaustible resources. There is also the old horned man who agreed to refine the beast weapon for him, and it is estimated that the other party has already felt that he has fallen. King Bai turned his eyes and said in a low voice, "Jian Wushuang, don't feel sad. You only need to follow the great gods to ensure that your cultivation speed is much faster than those of inheritors." These words are not empty words. Although he has been busy with blood sacrifices for 1,000 years, his cultivation has not fallen. In the realm, a mysterious organization, Ka, is the young master of it. The once promised him that as long as he breaks through the emperor, he can become the leader of the Kuei organization and control the realm. This hidden force is very large. Just at one of the halls that Jian Wushuang knew, there were 2 sixth-order emperors sitting in the town, one bright and one dark. What is clear is an ancient sect, but the dark place is disturbing the world, and the surrounding forces are working together to clear the temple, the land boundary. The temple is located in Tianzhou, which is the core area of the entire continent. The rest of Tiannan, Tianbei, Eastern region, and Western region were all in chaos, and the temple had to be driven away. The status of young sect master has a high status in the K organization, surpassing ordinary emperors, and is similar to the status of fourth-order emperors. To confirm the identity mainly depends on the token. Now, the token in Jianwa's hands is a third-tier token. Generally, only the fourth-order emperor with great merit can obtain this token. The fifth-order emperor is the second rank, and the sixth-order emperor is the first rank. There is also the legendary super first grade. Once the White King was at that level. With this third-rank token, Jian Wushuang can contact the local emperor and the powerful Taoist to help him no matter where he reaches the boundary. This time the blood sacrifice mobilized the Kuei organization in Daxiagu. A second-rank elder summoned. "Your treasure is here." King Bai reminded. Jian Wushuang didn't answer. He turned into the dead Daxia Ninth Prince. At the same time, in the ancestral temple of the Great Xia Ancient Kingdom, the emperor who was responsible for guarding the soul lamp saw the 9th soul lamp at the top lit up again, and he took a deep breath. In some places, the soul lamp could be covered. At first he thought that the 9 princes had fallen, so he had to report. Fortunately, there was a rule that the soul lamp would go out for a quarter of an hour before reporting. Jian Wushuang, who had become the 9 princes of the Great Xia Kingdom, instantly disappeared in place like a phantom and headed to the imperial capital of the Great Xia Kingdom. Summer, in the southern part of Tiannan, it can be regarded as a super dynasty. The first emperor who opened up the kingdom was a 6th-order emperor. After he abdicated, he has been in retreat for many years. The emperor of today's Daxia is a young 5th-order emperor with average combat power and average potential, but he has a brilliant strategy in management. In the Daxia clan, no one respected him. In the clan, in addition to this emperor, there are also ancestors and several elders, all of whom are 5th-order emperors. If you can't convince the crowd, it's just a puppet. Great Xia state capital. This super city is like a giant lying on the ground. The 16 gates are open, and there are hundreds of millions of people entering and leaving every day. With so many powerful people gathering, the capital is naturally prosperous and lively, especially a place for the strong to have fun. There are many crazy practitioners in the realm, and there are more lazy practitioners. It's hard to grow up under the shadow of the fathers. especially in this tempting city. East City, the most affluent and lively place. Jian Wushuang took advantage of the identity of the ninth prince Xia Mang Guanyu to come to the capital. Although it was very conspicuous, it was hidden deep enough. This was the real big hidden in the dynasty. In addition to being strong, the benefits of the super quality physical body also have many ways to help him, such as the means of change. When he was in the Shangqing Palace, the Broly he saw was a change of cultivation way, and the other party was getting stronger and stronger. What he has become like now that he has turned into this nine prince, even the founding emperor can't detect it, unless he is dragging his origin to examine it carefully. The average fifth-order emperor, let alone the origin, is placed on the opponent's face, and it may not be able to see it, learning the way Xia Mang Guanyu remembered. He swaggered into the capital a quarter of an hour before long. A gang of eagle dogs from the palace came to guard them. He had swallowed the memory of the other party before. Although the mother of the ninth prince was not a queen, her background was not ordinary. He came from a big family. His grandfather was a powerful fifth-order emperor, and several uncles were also fourth-order emperors. The ruling and opposition parties are very powerful. In addition, the mother's own strength is also the pinnacle of Tier 4, the strongest in the harem. There is only one son like him, so Xia Mang Guanyu has been domineering since he was a child. It's a pity that this time I hit him on the head. He completed the trial of the clan in a remote county, and he gave it to him in a pot, and he passed it directly. Jian Wushuang didn't care about these intertwined forces. If necessary, it only takes a little time, and it is not a problem to destroy the entire daxia. It's just that there is no need, and there is no time. He wouldn't be so boring. His Royal Highness, are we going to Firefox Palace? Do you want me to ask Fairy Firefox to arrange it first? The leader of the guard, who was also his bodyguard, asked. The clan's trial is cruel. No matter how high the status is, you must accept the trial. If you fail the trial, your status will decline. If you pass the trial, you will get a treasure and support for future treasures. He has the support of his mother and grandpa, and there is no shortage of treasures. If he didn't make trouble in this trial, it would have been over. It's just that these people are too unlucky, and the place of trial is actually near his retreat, and they are looted away. The guard leader knew that His Highness, every time he returned from the trial, he would go to the Firefox Palace to get angry. It's a life and death fight all day long, and it's very stressful. Every time I pass, I have to take it easy.